Good afternoon and welcome to KUMBTV, to Eyes Up Mother Brown. We are live with you this afternoon for West Ham United's enthralling fourth round FA Cup clash against Doncaster Rovers, the mighty Doncaster Rovers of League One. Try my best to build it up here, chaps. Not sure it's working. But anyway, there are four of us once again. The team of four is with you once again today. We have made a substitution, however. Gnome is out for this one, unavailable, unfortunately. And he has been replaced by Bristol Hammer, coming back from the subs bench after a recent spell out on loan. My hellos this afternoon to Bristol Hammer, to the Pink Palermo, and to Rio. The four of us will be with you throughout the afternoon for a little bit of pre-match build-up, not too much now because we're running a little bit late, but for live alternative commentary from the match, and then with a bit of post-match discussion to chat about how things went. In Gnome's absence, Rio has kindly offered to step in and bring us the team news. So, Rio, over to you, buddy.
Yep, we line up today. There's 7 changes to our starting lineup from the league game the other night. In goal, Lucas Fabianski. The back four of Ryan Fredericks, Ben Johnson, Fabian Balbuena, Issa Diop. In midfield, we have Thomas Soucek, Mark Noble, Pablo Fornals, Manuel Lanzini, and Said Benrahma. And looking likely to lead the line is Andrei Yarmolenko. On the bench, Aaron Creswell, Vladimir Kufel, Craig Dawson, Angelo Bonner, Mikel Antonio, Nathan Trott, Adu Viki Afolayan, the youngster, who I always struggle with, Declan Rice and Jamal Baptiste. Visitors today, Doncaster Rovers. In goal, Balcom.
Who?
Me and all. Back four, allegedly, of Halliday, Anderson, Butler and John. In midfield is Smith and Wright. Then Taylor, Lokilo, James. And up front, we have Kenny Berthy. On the bench for the visitors is Jones, Amos, Richards, Williams, Simo Zinatio, Blythe and Ravenhill.
Excellent. Excellent. Slightly quicker than Gnome does it, Rio. So I'm still struggling to get these links posted elsewhere, but not a problem. Not a problem. Thank you very much for stepping in and doing that. A quick look, as you can see, as Rio pointed out, 7 changes to the West Ham starting lineup today, as we speculated earlier in the week. 3 youngsters on the bench today. Just a quick word about those for anyone who's not quite sure who they are or doesn't know an awful lot about them. The substitute goalkeeper today, Nathan Trott, or to give him his full name, Nathan Wallace Newman Trott, a Bermudan, 22 years old, signed for West Ham a few years ago. An England under-19, under-20 and under-21 international, yet to play a first-team game for the club, but very highly rated. Also coming into the squad this afternoon is Baptiste, a central defender, only 17 years old is a young lad. He's been at West Ham since the age of just 8 years old. 2018, he broke into the under-18 squad while still just a schoolboy at the age of just 15. Incredible stuff. He made his debut for the under-23s in 2019 and went on to play 14 games in total that season. He also made his England under-17 debut in October 2019, again at the age of just 15. Incredible. Last year, 2020, he trained with the first team squad on our Scotland pre-season tour, and he made his first team debut in the 5-1 friendly win against Wickham in August last year. And he also made his England under-18 debut. And Baptiste says his inspiration is Declan Rice. And he says, West Ham is all I know. It's all I want. Brilliant. What about that? So we look forward to perhaps seeing him at some stage. Also in the team is Afolayan, who is perhaps a surprise because we might have expected to see another young striker in the squad today. But Afolayan is the player called into the starting squad. He's a 23-year-old forward, educated at Loughborough University, no less. Started at Chelsea, was with the Blues until the age of 15 before his family moved to Canada, to Toronto. He went on to play there before coming back to England, where he joined Solihull, for whom he scored 16 goals in 38 games. He won an England C cap in 2017, and later that year joined the Jamie Vardy V9 Football Academy, which is an academy for non-league players looking to get contracts with league teams, with professional clubs. In 2018, he signed a 3.5-year deal with West Ham, under Terry Wesley. It's a deal that expires at the end of this season. And he's previously spent time on loan at Oldham and Mansfield Town. So they're the three young lads who are in the squad today. Potentially, we might see them at some stage. Briz, I'm just looking at West Ham's team. Good afternoon to you, buddy. Good to see you back on the team. Looking at the starting lineup today, what do you make of it? Do you think that's a good shout from David Moyes?
Yeah, I'm a little bit perplexed. I feel a bit sorry for Nathan Trott. I mean, if you're going to put Fabianski in the team and not have Martin and Randolph on the bench, I mean, for me, I would have started with Trott and given him a go. I think that this is a perfect opportunity for him. Kept Fabianski on the bench, keep him a bit fresh for league games. But looking down the team, I've also noticed we've got 3 out of contract players in the summer and 3 that have only got a year left on their contract. So I suppose in a way, it's a kind of a good way to take them around, put them in the shop window. Good to see it's the strongest squad going out there. I'm not sure who's going to play up front, whether it's going to be Benny or whether it's going to be Yarmolenko. We know Benny can score goals. Yeah. We know we did at Brentford. So it'd be interesting to see who gets that Antonio slot today. I was a little bit surprised to see Antonio on the bench, actually. I thought they might have a bit of a rest this week. But, I think it's a good shout. We've been going on for years about the fact that we didn't put a strong side out for the Cup. And I think that we've come out with a bit of intent this afternoon. I'm glad to see it. Good
stuff. And also, as you're saying there, we've got quite a lot of those first team players on the bench, of course. Kufal, Dawson, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Rice, Antonio, all potential substitutes should they be required, of course. Mr. Palermo, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I just want to make it clear, by the way, to those watching, we don't rotate on the panel here. You've dropped Gnome, haven't you? You've dropped him. There's none of this. Well, he needs a rest or any of that.
I'm afraid, let's be honest, Pinky. I mean, it was a particularly poor performance from him last week. The second half, specifically when he kept referring to West Bromwich Albion as Wolverhampton Wanderers. And really, as the management team, I guess we were left with no alternative but to bring Briz in as a replacement.
I think that's what it is. And, clearly his legs have gone. He can't do 2 games a week. And so, I mean, he's clearly the Mark Noble of the team these days. But, I mean, just looking at our starting lineup today.
Yes.
Heavily changed, but there's still £100 million of professional fees paid for those players out there today.
Yeah,
£100 million between that lot. So, despite Donny having done 7 wins in 8 games, they are in the 3rd tier, and without putting the kibosh in it too much, this is a game the players that we have selected should be able to put to bed relatively straightforwardly. That's not to say it's going to be easy, but we really should have enough there to see off Doncaster Rovers.
Yeah, you definitely think so, wouldn't you? Well, we shall see how it all works out in due course. Rio's given us the teams already. We've already met Rio this afternoon. How you doing, buddy? You okay?
Yeah, not so bad, thanks, mate.
Good. What do you make of that team? You sort of agree with the rest, the other guys there? That's good to rotate it a little bit.
I mean, to be honest, we're utilising the squad. We've got a plethora of options at the back, and we've completely changed the back 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's in midfield and up front where we well known shorter numbers, but done a little bit of rotation. Declan's got a bit of a rest this week. It's a strong side, It should be enough to deal with what we've got in front of us today. Yeah. We made hard work of it against Stockport, but let's be honest, the conditions weren't conducive to good football at all, were they? Away from home, very unfamiliar surroundings. We reverted to the West Ham type of making heavy weather of things. Today, it should be a lot better, a bit more simpler. I'm not going to disrespect Doncaster because, as Pinky rightly pointed out, they've on a really good run of form. I think it's 7 wins out of 8. Yeah. Don't think they can see the goal this year. Darren Moore's got he's a person I like, Darren Moore, and he's obviously developing a decent side there. So I'm expecting a stern test, but one that we should cope with admirably.
Yeah, we shall. As I said, we shall see how it all transpires in due course. The players just emerging from the tunnel on my screen. I don't know if I'm at the same juncture as you guys on yours because I'm not watching BBC. I'm watching a moody stream. Don't tell anyone. But I'm just seeing the team lineup going up on the TV. Is that roughly where you guys are?
And pensioners struggling to pay the licence fee. How do you sleep? How do you sleep? I don't know.
Well, I'm not far off that myself now, to be fair.
I'm watching David Moyes be interviewed, which is obviously an earlier interview that he's done. So whether or not they're playing that on the BBC over the top of the players coming out. And we're also seeing a little bit of an interview from Darren Moore. So I imagine that's previously edited stuff.
Okay.
I mean, Darren Moore looks nervous. I mean, you can well understand it. I mean, you know, once we tucked Stockport away, Jim Gannon loses his job, you know, a few days later. So Darren Moore, could it be the curse of West Ham United that does him? Yeah.
Is that right? I didn't know that about Jim Gannon.
Yeah. They've let him go. The Danny Taylor, who writes for The Athletic these days, put a tweet out in the week, and his take on it was that they're a forward-looking club looking for a manager with more modern ideas. So make of that what you will, because Gannon's certainly been a very good servant to that club over the years. But I think they got new owners in about a year ago, didn't they, Stockport? And they clearly want to go in a different direction. So it'd be interesting to see how that one pans out.
Yeah, very wealthy owners down there. A couple of local lads made good, it seems, and obviously got big aspirations for Stockport. They're, of course, going very well down there in the National League. They were fourth when we played them. I'm not quite sure where they are now, but doing very, very well. But, of course, this afternoon it is Doncaster Rovers. Briz, what do we know about our opponents this afternoon? We were speaking in the just before we went live about one of their players who's been around forever, but doesn't appear to be involved today.
Yeah, we were talking about James Coppinger. He's kind of been there. He's like their Martin O'Boy is to us, really. I mean, I think he's been at the club for years and years. He's 40 years old now and still getting a game and still playing well for them. They're one of those teams that's always kind of just kept under the radar, really, and they moved up and down the leagues, moved through and dropped back down again. Again, not a massive club, but a club that's part of the history of football, really. They've always kind of been around the league, so they're doing well at the moment, and I expect them to come at us today at the London Stadium. I mean, there's nothing in it for them to sit back and try and nick something. I think they're going to give it a go today, so I'm looking forward to see how we cope with that.
Yes, should be an interesting tie, obviously, with West Ham resting quite a few first-team players, and perhaps Doncaster may be fancying their chances. Who knows? Who knows? We shall see how it works out over the course of the next couple of hours. Interestingly, the two teams have met before on 24 occasions. Rio, who's won the most, West Ham or Doncaster? Putting you on the spot here.
I'd edge towards us slightly.
Okay. Pinky, have you had a look this week? You had a little sneak?
I have had a look at Rio. You're going to be sadly disappointed, my friend. You know, the mighty Doncaster Rovers of the Indian sign on us, and played 24, we've won 8, drawn 6, and lost 10. We're in their wake, clearly, and interesting enough, last time we played at their place, we came away 1-0 winners back in 2011. My recollection of that day, I think it was quite a warm day when we played them. A minibus load of us went up there that day. And I recall Alunga played and made a bit of a howler or something that afternoon. That's kind of something that sticks in my memory. I don't know if he was sent off or something like that. For some reason, he's in my memory bank from that game. But they've got the edge on us. So maybe it's us that should be nervous this afternoon. Yeah,
a bit of a surprise, that one. I guess we would have only met in the lower leagues, as it were, lower leagues, but not the top flight. Interesting one that Briz. Doncaster 10 wins to West Ham's 8. You wouldn't have thought that, I guess.
No. I mean, you look on paper and say, well, we've won. You want us to be way up there, but I think again it adds a little bit more spice today. And it's been a long time since I've watched the game and thought, actually, this is going to be a really good contest today. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, West Ham looking to halve that deficit this afternoon in terms of matches won between the two sides. The last occasion on which the two teams met was the game after the one Pinky is referred to. That particular game, West Ham winning 1-0, as he said. Kevin Nolan go after 5 minutes, securing the points for West Ham. Ilunga replaced after 86 minutes, so not sent off according to the stats, Pinky, but replaced by Junior Stanislas with 4 minutes to go. But I'll have to have a look back at the KUMB match report and see what it was you're referring to, because But then again, he did make a few, didn't he? Over
He either had an absolute blinder,
yeah,
or was just absolutely appalling. It was one of the two. Yeah, but for some reason, it sticks in my memory something about Ilunga on that day. Yeah,
right.
and I can't quite remember what it was, but yeah, it was certainly a very warm day that day, and a load of us in a minibus, and yeah, happier times I think for West Ham United supporters in many ways.
What I can say is Ilunga went to Doncaster on loan for 3 months, so maybe that's what you're getting mixed up with.
Could be.
It was a very hot day, of course, 13th of August. So that I guess that explains why it's particularly well. I'm just looking at his match notes actually from that game, Pink, and it says generally poor, sloppy in possession. This is from the KUMB match report archive. Generally poor, sloppy in possession, and about to be replaced by George McCartney, one would assume.
Well, there you go.
I don't know if nothing specific there, but yeah. Obviously didn't spend that much time in the first team. We're just seeing the players walk out onto the pitch amidst a sea of bubbles from behind the bubble machine. The last occasion I was going to say that the two teams met was in March 2012. It was a game in which our friend Briz Coppinger scored, of course, scoring a late equaliser for Rovers after Kevin Nolan again had given the Hammers an early lead in the 9th minute on that particular occasion. And George McCartney, interestingly, was in the team for that day. So Ilunga, long gone by then, it would seem, Pinky. But yeah, I seem to remember that game. Wasn't that the game where everyone booed Diouf endlessly from the first to the last minute? And it was a dreadful game, as I recall. We just really didn't play. I think it was a spell when we seemed to draw every game for about 2 months in a row, I think, at that.
I was going to say, you narrow the field by, we were dreadful. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't say much, does it?
Yeah,
but
no, I mean, generally, Graham, as my recollection of games normally is I could just about remember we played Stockport the other day. So asking me to go back a long way, which is why I'm struggling to think what is it that Ilunga did that day that actually made me stick in the memory bank. But I'm not so sure. But certainly today, a team that's won 7 out of 8 matches isn't going to be short on confidence. And Darren Moore, he's an experienced guy now. I thought he was very unlucky when he was at West Bromwich Albion, and perhaps they rue the day they parted company with him. But he'll have his lads fired up today, saying, "Look at West Ham. They're resting most of their first team. Go and have a go at them, lads." And I don't think we're going to see Stockport County Mark II here. I think we'll see a team that might actually try and play some football. Although reading their match thread, they're suggesting that they've got about 6 defenders and 4 centre backs and 2 full backs in midfield. So we'll see. I'm
just going to touch it very briefly before we kick off. A couple of match notes on Ilunga on that particular day. Who was the match reporter there? It was Eastham Martin, the excellent Eastham Martin, who used to keep us entertained with his match reports. He says that Ilunga, there was some overplayed, over-intricate style of football, who often got caught in possession. And he also mentioned that Ilunga, being West Ham's long throw expert, delivered 2 foul throws in succession as his foot went clearly over the line, but the ref ignored it. So I don't know. We will never. If you remember what Ilunga did that day, do let us know. But we are underway anyway at the London Olympic Stadium. West Ham United versus Doncaster Rovers, the FA Cup 4th round. The winners, of course, will face the winners of the Manchester United versus Liverpool tie, which takes place. Rio, remind me when that game's on.
You got me there. I'm the first who couldn't remember we had a game last Tuesday. I doubled myself a meeting, let alone what's coming in the future. I'll have to check up on that.
All right, we'll leave that one with you, buddy. Let us know when that is. But yeah, West Ham away to the winners of that one. So, a big carrot being dangled there for the winners this time. On my live stream, Breeze, I've got 1 minute and 5 seconds. Where are you?
1:13.
Pinky, where are you now?
I'm with Breeze. I'm at 1:19 now.
And Rio?
Yeah, I'm exactly with the other two.
Okay, so I'm about 5 or 6 seconds behind you guys, which is good in a way because that gives me an opportunity to take a look at anything controversial.
All into the box.
Oh, get in!
Go, get in.
Come on.
And there you go. Speaking of which, Pinky, we have a goal already.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, good work by Yarmo down the right flank, fed the ball through, and Fredericks bombed forward, crossed it into the middle, and I think it's Fornals, was it, that buried it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great ball from Yarmolenko. Picks the ball up on the right, exposes the defender. Ball inside to Fredericks. Ball's cut across, and there's Fornals straight in the back of the net.
West Ham United 1. Doncaster Rovers 0. The goal coming inside 90 seconds. Great start for the Hammers, Rio. What a fantastic start.
Yeah, he can't ask for nothing more. Great little move. Yarmolenko and Fredericks doing incredibly well. And the much criticised for his finishing, Pablo Fornals popping up with another goal. What more can you want? The only thing I'd like to temper the spirit a little bit. Didn't we score very early against in our last home game in the FA Cup against West Brom? Or was that a different one? Am I completely losing the plot this week?
Drop him. Send him to train with Gnome and the reserves. Let's not have your negativity. We're 1-0 up in 90 seconds. Yeah, come on.
The boss has put pressure on the team selection, and I'm cracking under pressure here.
Hello, is that the ticket office? Can you have Rio move to another part of the ground for away games so I can't hear him? Yeah.
I was going to come to you, Briz, being somewhat of our tactical expert. Someone phoning me up there. You'd have to call back later, I'm afraid. Just to have a look at the way we're lining up. We were unsure who was going to be playing that Antonio role. And what are you seeing so far, buddy?
Well, interestingly, Fornals is playing on the right of a 3 behind Yarmolenko. So Yarmolenko is playing up front. Looks like Benrahma's in the middle with Lanzini on the left, which is interesting because that's normally a role that Fornals would play. Fornals would normally go left, and Lanzini in the middle, and probably Benrahma over on the right. But we're playing with a 3 behind Yarmolenko. Looks like Noble's got freedom license to roam about, which is interesting. And Souček's sitting a bit deeper in front of protecting the back 4. Not that at the moment they need much protecting. Although Doncaster on the attack now, ball's on the edge of our box, and it's under Noble's put it back, and it's we made a bit of a hash of it, but it's gone out of play. So yeah, we're set up pretty much how we do for league games, and just a change of personnel. I think Johnson's playing very well over on the left. He had a break earlier on, and I think that we're not going to see too much from our 3 behind the front one coming back to defend today. They're not looking to play that role, which they would normally do in league matches. So it looks like we're a bit between our teeth today, and we're going for it, which is always good.
Yeah, good stuff. That's what we want to see. A team with a bit of attacking impetus, not one happy to sit on its laurels, having scored inside the opening 90 seconds, as we see Benrahma drive through the middle there. Pinky, perfect start, really. We couldn't have asked for much more, could we?
Yeah, and dare I say it, the wonderfully named Plumpster on Viking Chat is saying very good goal, but sometimes you can score too early. Yeah, he's clearly not watched us for very long, that's for sure. Sometimes we've waited till November to get a goal in most seasons, but I'll take 90 seconds all day long. I mean, clearly they were nervous about coming to the mighty London Stadium. Overawed by, it must be like going into the Colosseum for the likes of Doncaster, from the kick out to the London Stadium. Heavens above, but no, they'll settle down, and we've caught them while they're still on the bus. And most unlike West Ham, it must be said, go at it straight away. Good stuff.
We're back in the box. We're back with a ball coming across from Fredericks again. Ball into the box.
Oh, wasn't a great cross. Should have scored from there though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's is it Fornals who's gone up? I think it's Fornals, isn't it, with a header. The cross coming in from the right-hand side from Fredericks. Very lively today so far, Rio. Fredericks has been involved with everything.
He's got points to prove, hasn't he? His place in the side is diminishing by the week. Kufal's come in and done a sterling job. So Fredericks has got to impress. And the thing is, against low league opposition again, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he's got to run out. He's got to make a mark. Why not? If you're going to do it today.
Yeah.
They've just showed the big screen in the ground. I think it's just come up there, a big banner, a picture of David Sullivan, and it's saying all these players are for sale. I'm not sure if I've just misread that, but maybe that's explaining Fredericks, putting on the afterburners there and tearing down the wing. I mean, you can't blame the chairman for trying to get a few quid for the fringe players.
Joking aside, Pinky, do you think there is an element of that in that team today? I mean, we've got Diop in there as well, who, of course, is another one who's been, linked with a move out of the club this month.
Yeah, absolutely, and there was talk.
Doncaster attacking, ball into the box and headed away and cleared.
There was talk 5 or 6 weeks ago of Fredericks being, tradable, shall we say? And I think he is certainly a player that we'd listen to offers for, and I think the same goes for Diop. So I think there was an element of that. I mean, you're playing them against third division opposition. If they can't look competent against that opposition, then you really are going to struggle to shift them. But certainly that burst of pace from Fredericks early doors, someone would have looked at that and said, I can make use of that somewhere.
Yeah, very much so. Going back to what Briz was just saying there, the ball coming into the box from the left from Doncaster, headed clear by Balbuena, Briz, who of course has been out of the side. He's playing pretty well, wasn't he, really, until Dawson came in, and then he sort of made that spot his own. You think Balbuena has got a right to be a little bit disappointed to be dropped, and also for so long?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't too bad at the back. I mean, I don't think certainly he was. Him and Albona seem to strike up a reasonable relationship. He's out of contract in summer though, so maybe that's got a bearing on it. Just to go back to what Pinky was saying about the players up for sale, and all jokiness. Oh, we're breaking into the box now. Benrahma's in. He's put it wide. Sorry, it was Lanzini, not Benrahma. We put it wide.
Yeah, I think Benrahma started the move, didn't he? In the middle of the park there, and played Lanzini and cut inside on his right hand foot, and just dragged his shot wide, Breeze.
Yeah, that's right. And he should have done better there. Should have done better. Should have scored at that point. But I suppose
he should have laid it wide to Fornals, and Fornals would have had a tapping.
Yeah.
But going back to that, I mean, Pinky was kind of tongue in cheek a little bit about us having players out there for sale, but it looks like all the noises coming out of the club this week. We've got serious cash flow problems. I mean, there's rumours of us dropping the price for Rice. Actually looking around and saying, well, we want players on loan. We're not actually going to make any transfer dealings for players. I'm wondering whether or not we have got some serious cash flow issues at the club. Some other noises about Haller as well. So it'll be interesting to see going forward whether or not we are actively trying to take some of these players out to other clubs. But as said at the beginning, we've got 3 out of contract players in the summer in that squad, 3 with a year left, and 2 that we've need to be said about being in the shop window in Diop and possibly Lanzini. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not any of these players move out in the next week or so that we've got left. Oh, Yarmolenko should have done better.
Yes, the ball played over the top. I think it was it Fornals? I think just sort of lifted the ball over the top there to Yarmolenko, and on the volley, a real opportunity for the Ukrainian to double West Ham's early advantage here, Rio. Perhaps an opportunity squandered a little bit there.
Yeah, no, that's 2 in a row. He really should have done better. It was a great move. Fornals again instrumental in creating that chance. Lovely little dink over the back of the defenders. Yarmo should have done much better. You expect him, particularly from that range, to find the back of the net. Just an update on the dates for the next round.
Yes.
I just realised why I should have remembered it, because it's the new FA role, isn't it? The 5th round is midweek. So it would be Wednesday the 10th of February. So had we been able to go to games, and providing we actually get through today, an army of West Ham fans who would love to have gone up to either Old Trafford or Anfield, made an absolute racket, would have had to put 2 days off work to do so. I can safely say I would have done. But yeah, the FA are ruining the FA Cup a little bit more every year, aren't they?
Book 2 days off. Who are you kidding? Just phone in sick. Come on, like the rest of us, eh? Come all this nonsense when we all whinge about I've got to book 2 days off work and that's 2 days holiday, God. That's where you play your COVID card, isn't it? Yeah, get a grip, Rio. Yeah.
We've just seen a lovely little ball played out from side Benrahma, who's proving to be rather influential so far. Looking for Ryan Fredericks out on the right flank, just a little bit too heavy, and the ball just running out of play. But Ben Rama's been involved in an awful lot so far, Brisbane, hasn't he, for West Ham? Pretty much, at the heart of every move.
Yeah, I mean, he's dropping deep, picking the ball up in midfield and just driving at defenders, which in the league games against Premier League opposition, he hasn't had the opportunity to do because of the way we've set up. So I think he's enjoyed himself a bit today. He can actually get on the ball and make things happen. But again, Fornals has been excellent, absolutely excellent from the onset. And him and Ben Rama are linking up really well. If you're Mark Bowen, you're having to get a bit nervous at the moment. Ball into the box, and that's picked up by the keeper. But yeah, I think he's been good today. But then again, you've got to bear in mind the opposition. I mean, in Premier League games, he's lost the ball quite a lot, and I wonder if that's why he's been told a little bit by Moyes that he's got to keep possession a bit more.
Yeah.
But today's looked good.
West Ham, we're 12 and a half minutes in. The Hammers already created 4 efforts at goal, scored 1, could have been 2 or 3, possibly, really, Pinky, if Lanzini had taken his opportunity. Yarmolenko, of course, as well, and Fornals with that header just narrowly wide. We're just seeing West Ham break again here. And we'll stick with this for a minute. Pinky, over to you.
Ultimately, I mean, these are words I never thought I'd utter. They can't cope with our movement, is the bottom line. Against this standard of opposition, our players are moving like precision engineered components in the most expensive engine you've ever seen. And it's just the difference in quality. That's not being too rude about Doncaster, I hope, but players that, Said Ben Rama will cost us £30 million.
Yeah. I
expect him to absolutely dominate teams from 2 divisions below us. Same goes, for Pablo Fornals, a £24 million footballer. Andrei Yarmolenko, £17 million. It's a deal, 22 million. We've got to be better than them in every single department today. Otherwise, you say, well, why are we paying those fees for players? Because I guess the Doncaster side has been put together for 2 or 3 million quid. Something of that nature. So we should be better than them. Having said that, where these games are often lost is the players go out there with the wrong attitude.
Yeah.
No sign of that today. And again, credit to David Moyes and his coaching staff, who said, okay, here's your chance, lads. Go and show us what you can do. So that's quite encouraging. Sad to say, the slowest player on the pitch again looks Mark Noble, and bless him. It really is the season too far, isn't it, for him? It's such a shame.
Yeah, it certainly looks a bit that way this season from his brief cameos that we've seen him in. Jason Lockelo just unceremoniously dumped to the turf there by Issa Diop. As we see the resulting free kick coming, delivered to the far post, nodded back into the centre, but West Ham just about dealt with it there. The first real attack there, Rio from Rovers, as we've just seen Diop, of course, who committed that foul a few moments earlier, now down on the deck himself, about to receive treatment.
Yeah, I think when we watched Doncaster so far, they've been very competent. Again, a lot of men behind the ball, but we're just picking them apart. They look like they've set up really from the start to try and, dare I say it, play for the draw, go straight to penalties. But we've not allowed them to play, have we? We've been so dominant. We've been playing really nice football. We're moving well.
Yeah.
I think he said the calibre of the players we've got out there, in the likes of Lanzini, Ben Rama and Fornals, can't flourish against a side of this calibre themselves. Who can they flourish against? But saying that, how many times have we seen a West Ham side play lower league opposition and struggle to assert their authority and assert their technical ability? We've seen it far too many times. So let's just hope it carries on. Just saying that this year's just get back on his feet.
Yeah,
I think he's maybe suffering a little bit from his hair's grown a little bit, hasn't he? I think he may be suffering the effects from not going to the barbers for a little bit.
Yeah, it has. It definitely grown since we last saw him. I'm just wondering if that's a shoulder injury there. It seems to fall quite awkwardly, or it could be an elbow in the ear hole. But Briz, fortunately, as Rio says, he looks to be okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he just got clattered, went in for the ball, just got knocked from behind. He's not impressed me so far. I mean, I know we're only 16 minutes in, but he seems to be a little bit off the pace in terms of seeing where the ball is.
Yeah.
His movement's a little bit off, a little bit slow to push up. So yeah, maybe just ring rustiness, but I don't know. He looks like a player a little bit disinterested for me, and maybe that's part of the reason why Moyes is trying to offload him. But interesting, Nick. One for the collectors earlier on. Martin Noble won a high press up the pitch, which was really good, and got in for the tackle and won the ball back. We're on attack again now. Doncaster just can't seem to cope with the players cutting in from the wings into the middle, and it's an interchanging, and it's really refreshing to see us actually try and grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Normally we would get the goal or not get the goal and sit back deep, wait to counter, and actually this time we're actually going after the game, which is great.
Yeah, very much so. 17 and a half minutes gone, and West Ham leading 1-0 here against League One Doncaster Rovers. The only goal of the game coming after about 90 seconds. And Pablo Fornal scoring from a Yarmolenko cross to give the Hammers a very early lead. And West Ham have started really, really strongly, as Briz has just pointed out there, and looking very much the stronger side at the moment. But of course, it is a cup match and anything can happen. And as we said against Stockport, while the score is still only 1-0, who knows? Who knows? But West Ham leading here. The ball's just Doncaster looking to attack on their left-hand side, and Ryan Fredericks doing some good defensive work to avert the danger there. Rio, we haven't gone to the KUMB forum yet to see what people are saying on the match thread. What's the view of our start so far?
Yeah, everyone's absolutely delighted naturally. Just coming back on here before the game, there was a lot of optimism. Much of the chat obviously was about, do we rest players? Who's the selection going to be? No one was disappointed with the lineup. Also, I might say on the premium prediction thread, not one person predicted us to come a cropper today. So unusual wave of optimism going throughout the club. Yeah, going back to the actual thread itself, just in the aftermath of the goal, Bubbles 1966 put Yarmolenko was started like a cross between Berbatov and Sheringham, 1-0. Bondholder 59, 4 hours past the Yarmo, and he raced to the edge of the box to score. So obviously praising the work of 4 hours, which we see week in, week out.
Yep.
Just a couple more here is Luke Chadwick. We're playing some lovely football. I know it's against lower league opposition, but I can't remember playing this well against Oxford or Wimbledon. There's still 80 minutes to go, though. Simon Hammer. I won't put too much emphasis on the performance when players like, this is referring to the Yarmolenko miss.
Yep.
I won't put too much emphasis on a performance like when he scores against lower league opposition. Hilaire did it against Charlton and Hull, yet still looked poor against Premier League opposition. And Lucien Armith, new one on me. Fornals has got into some great positions in the box. It's great to see him finish one. But what was Lanzini thinking not to grant the Fornals for his chance? So, but largely, like, everyone is delighted with the start we made, and rightly so. Yeah,
good stuff. We're just seeing West Ham looking to build on the right-hand side. There's some intricate passing and a little flick over the top from Lanzini, which just comes to nothing. Goalkeeper Ellery Balcom managing to come out and claim that one. But some good stuff, Pinky, from West Ham. You know, we're looking to work the channels, and, you know, as I said, there's some intricate passing going on in the centre of the park there. It's all looking good so far.
Yeah, it is. You know, we've got some good footballers out there who want to show what they can do, and rightly so. And I'd also say fair play to Darren Moore and Doncaster Rovers. This isn't 10 men behind the ball and trying to hang on and clog the way through a game. They're trying to play football as best they can. You know, they're trying to be positive. So, you know, one of the things that's impressed me this season, the cup competitions, is we have yet to come up against a team of cloggers. No one has actually sent out players to sort of rough us up or what have you. And sometimes in days gone by, you'd played lower league teams that would do that. But the teams who played in the cup competitions this season, no one's resorted to those things. And hats off to every opponent we've played.
Yeah, I think we saw a little bit of that in the Carabao Cup, didn't we? Was it Charlton or was it? I think
Charlton was very good. Charlton was very good. I made a point at the time of Lee Bowyer saying, you know, well done, Lee. Yeah, because they played the game the proper way.
Was it? It must have been Hull City, I think. There was a few, wasn't it? Yeah, but I mean, no, certainly in the FA Cup, Stockport really tried to play, didn't they? Although they couldn't really do an awful lot. I make you right. I think everyone, bar Hull, has really come out and sort of given us a game. 22 minutes gone. West Ham 1, Doncaster 0 as we approach the halfway point in the first half. I haven't said hello to everyone watching live on the YouTube chat this afternoon. So welcome everybody to KUMBTV. Good to see you all there. Good to have you all with us. Mark English, to Hobo, to Dan, to Polaroid, to Elaine, our lucky charm, is back again this afternoon. Of course, for those who follow the streams, every time Elaine's watched us, we've won previously. So
Rama in the box, break in, all in the middle, and Doncaster have just about managed to scramble it. It's come back to Lanzini, Noble on the edge of the box, and he's lost the ball.
Should Ben Rama have gone himself there, perhaps, Briz, and rather than looking to pull that back?
Yeah, I think so. I think he had the opportunity. It almost like caught him by surprise a little bit, and he wasn't quite sure what to do with it. But again, a little bit disappointed. Noble gets the ball there and just stumbles over it, and another attack breaks down. And sometimes he's a little guilty of that, of taking it and looking to move it backwards rather than trying to do something with it properly. So,
yeah,
see how that develops through the game.
We are 23 minutes in. It's West Ham 1, Doncaster 0. The only goal of the game coming after 2 minutes from Pablo Fornals. Excuse me, I've got a terrible wind today. Don't know why. But anyway, we are keeping an eye on both forums. Of course, Pinky is keeping an eye on the opposition forum. That's it is Viking Chat, which claims to be the #1 Doncaster Rovers forum. Probably hasn't got an awful lot of competition, one would think. But Pinky, anything else going on down there at the moment?
Actually, I've got it on good authority that Viking Chat is the #1 thing to do in Doncaster. Never mind, just football forums, but. Raven Rover is berating his fellow supporters up there at Donny, saying, come on, people, Moyes is a manager who is taking the competition seriously. He could have put out a load of youngsters in today, but we're up against a strong team. And I think that's fair comment. It's not necessarily the team I'd have picked today. I'd have picked a stronger team, but, there's a lot of money on that pitch from West Ham United today. So that's a fair comment. Ian 1980 is saying the difference in quality is showing because they are quicker in everything they do and are pulling us from pillar to post. So I think fair comments. If we saw comments like that every week from the opposition, you'd have nothing to write after most games, Graham. But they know they're getting taught a bit of a footballing lesson here today thus far. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. Thank you, Pinky. We've just seen Doncaster win their first corner of the game, which was comfortably dealt with by West Ham once again. But Doncaster, sorry, I'm just looking at my phone. It seems to have opened up Alexa for some reason because I mentioned your name, Pinky. I'm not quite sure what the link is between the Alexa and the pink Palermo, but yeah, just turn that off quickly. We're just seeing Doncaster attack on the right-hand side, but Johnson doing very well to cover that and win a goal kick for the Hammers. Halfway through the first half, Rio, what do you make of it all so far? Quite happy with what you've seen?
Yeah, we look incredibly comfortable, don't we?
Yeah.
Doncaster looked a little bit sloppy in possession at times, particularly in their final third, which is going to make them come a cropper even further, I think. But we're looking really good on the ball, look confident. We don't look disjointed at all. You expect 7 changes. We might look a bit kind of disjointed and out of sorts a little, but we set on really well. Balbain and Diop at the back, they played so well in that first season together, and they're looking like that's not going to be really threatened today. Fredericks has got him down the right-hand side really well. Fornals and is pulling the strings greatly. Lanzini's even looking quality today. Again, I think due to the level of the opposition.
Yeah.
But let's hope it builds his confidence and he can thrive on from that. As I say, Noble's just surged forward with some degree of pace, which you haven't seen since about 2004.
Who was that? Sorry, who was that again?
Not Noble. I think there's a treadmill been installed into the...
Hang on, it's just come up. Do not adjust your set. Yeah.
What a burst of pace from Mark Noble, something we haven't seen since about 2012 possibly. But no, I mean, joking aside, great to see from the skipper there today, who seems a bit perturbed for something. I'm not quite sure. He's pointing to his armband with the word respect on it, perhaps suggesting that the team at Eyes Up Mother Brown aren't giving him enough as things stand following that bit of pace. But anyway, a little stat for you, gentlemen. Pablo Fornal's strike against Doncaster was West Ham's earliest goal in any competition since Diafro Sacco's strike against Manchester United in the Premier League back in November 2016, more than 4 years ago. Also, apparently, being scored at 1 minute and 30 seconds, exactly the same time. So there you go. West Ham's quickest goal in any game for just over 4 years, apparently. We've just seen Ben Rama being really influential on the, in the centre of the park on the left-hand side. But unfortunately, that cross coming to nothing, Briz. But we've spoken before, haven't we, about Ben Rama and, the need to impress. And he really seems to be, pulling out all the stops and putting an effort in today.
He is, but one thing I've noticed is that on the right-hand side, Fredericks can come forward and support a bit more because Fornals will come back and do the defensive duty, whereas when the ball gets over on the other side of the pitch, Ben Rama just stands there and watches Johnson. So Johnson's been pressed really back quite into the back four almost, not able to come forward as much, which is a side of his game I'd like to see him improve. I have to be honest, in Premier League games, I've not been that impressed with Ben Rama. I think he's a bit of a show pony. I think he gives away the ball a lot, and I don't think he works hard enough for the team. He gets the ball and there's a lot of kind of rushing around with it and nice taps and standovers, but I don't think he does enough of the dog work in the team. So, but today he's looked all right, looks okay, and I just hope to see a bit more from him in the Premier League. Ball in the box from Fredericks, and it's dropped at the back to Ben Rama, and it looks like Doncaster are going to clear this now.
Yeah, once again, that was good timing. That we were just talking about
giving the ball away.
And there he goes. There's a bit of a lull in play at the moment, so I'm going to turn to Rio. It's T-shirt time. Rio, what are we sporting this afternoon?
All right, Mr.
I'm just saying the T-shirt. We haven't spoken about the T-shirt yet.
Sorry.
What are you wearing today?
This is I'll just hold up. We're just on the attack here. Noble put it just on the right hand side. Fredericks couldn't quite get to it. Bit okay. Yeah, on the music, film and TV section of the KUMB forum, we are currently doing an alphabetical choice of your favourite 3 bands per letter of the alphabet. Today's choice will be H later whenever he gets around to putting it up. So, Helmet, one of my favourite bands ever from New York, absolutely superb band. I recommend the albums Me Time, Betty and Aftertaste. Bit of a modern kind of metal hardcore band, really good. Actually, last time I went to see them, which was just before lockdown, bumped into one of our former colleagues there, Mr. Goes to 11. So it was really good to see him. Last time I actually saw him in person. So, yeah, recommend them as per usual.
There you go. There was I thinking that they were a Carpenters-esque middle of the road ensemble.
Attacking Ben Rama through, but it's cleared away from Doncaster again.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky there. The Hammers building, but it's just not coming, Pinky, at the moment. I mean, it's actually been a while since, it's nearly 20 minutes since we've had a shot at a goal, funnily enough.
Yeah, but let's not be fooled. I mean, we're battering them. We're absolutely battering them here. And I think the biggest problem we're likely to have is things like we've just seen Barama unleashing a shot from about 4 miles away, where the players start to lose patience and so we're getting a bit frustrated, but we've got all the ball, we're playing all the football, we're completely comfortable in this today. So let's not start thinking this is a nervous performance. I just want to go back to a point that Bristol raised a quarter of an hour or so ago about the club's financial problems at the minute and so forth. Reports in the press today that not only did we have to give a slice of the Haller fee to a private equity company, the fund controlled by Michael Dell, which funds a lot of football clubs at the minute. So that was the kind of like the late payment on Haller. So of the 20 million, and we're through. And
yes, here we go.
Another goal. Yarmolenko.
Good finish by Yarmo there. So did what he had to do, and dare I say it, that's the game. Donny aren't getting 3. But yeah, so 5 million of the 20 million fee, was immediately paid to somebody else. But the real nugget in the report today was that West Ham have also taken advantage of a significant loan in much the same way that Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal Football Club have, to help them through the COVID crisis. So we clearly haven't got any money, and so whatever we're bidding for players in the marketplace is borrowed money. So all those promises about we're moving to the London Stadium, we've got to be debt-free, all of those things.
Yeah.
Well, clearly they only applied for the day you got the keys, because after that we just seem to be going on another debt-fueled binge. The price of football had us down as owing other clubs in excess of £80 million for players a week or so ago, and we're still borrowing money. And we had a £30 million rights issue last summer. The club's accounts, which are due imminently, they're going to be ugly reading. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think it's on that point, Pink. It might be a good idea for us to have a chat with Kieran Maguire and get him back on the site for another interview. Kieran Maguire, who is of course the Price of Football. The football finance expert over on Twitter. Do follow him if you're interested in football finances, because he's always a good read and definitely knows his stuff. The number one in terms of football finance. But yeah, as Pinky says, West Ham in a bit of trouble financially. We'll perhaps come back and discuss that Mail report a bit later. But of course, as we were talking, I mean, I said 2 minutes ago, Briz, that we hadn't had a shot for 20 minutes, and then within the space of 60 seconds, Ben Rama had an effort from the edge of the box, and then Yarmolenko doubles the lead. Of course, Ben Rama involved again. The through ball coming from the Algerian, and we were just saying we want to see more from him, and he's certainly doing that today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got a bit lucky. The ball was passed to him by the centre back. So, I mean, bit of a favour for us there. But we're just looking at a sight on this. And this shows you that we can play good attacking football. We can go and look to take games by the scruff of the neck. And I think we need to do more of that in the Premier League. We've just looked a little bit nervy and a little bit sitting back. And I think this is when people talk about, I don't want to use the phrase of West Ham way because it gets put under so much scrutiny. But when people talk about attacking football, it's not always meaning that it's lots of ticky-tacky and sideways passing, lots of moving and interchanging. It's about the intent of winning the game. It's about going out there to say, we're going to take this game by the scruff of the neck and have a good go at it. And sometimes you get beat on the back of that because, the other team's better than you and just takes advantage. But a lot of the time, you can actually go out there and win games well. And I think that's what we've been lacking in the last few weeks. And although I've been impressed with Moyes and I love the way that we're doing well on the pitch now, and I think that will bring some stability to the players on the pitch, I think I'd like to see a little bit more of this attacking intent when we go out there to play. Certainly teams on or around the relegation positions. I can understand against the bigger teams we want to sit a bit deeper and and be a bit more guarded. But I think that's what would win people over much more on this. But certainly today, and again, you've got to bear in mind the opposition, but certainly today we've done that. We've gone out and took the game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, very much so. It's been an excellent start by the Hammers here. 35 minutes gone and West Ham leading Doncaster 2-0. Could have been more. We've taken our chances earlier in the game, but I'm sure nobody will complain at the moment. We just saw Mark Noble take a little bit of a knock in the challenge with Okenabiri just over on the touchline here by the halfway line, but Mark hooking the ball backwards, not quite sure what that was, looking for the goalkeeper, I suppose, but he seems to be okay anyway. As we see Doncaster try and build on the right-hand side once again as they look to get back into this game. Great start for the Hammers. As I said, 2 goals to the good. Goals coming from Pablo Fornals after 2 minutes or 90 seconds to be precise, and Andrei Yarmolenko, who was involved with the first goal, put the crossing that led to it, scoring the second with a little dink over Ellery Balcom in between the sticks for Doncaster to double our advantage. Doncaster, Pinky, have a dangerous looking free kick right now, though. Chance to half the deficit, perhaps.
Yeah, out on the right-hand side, about 25, 30 yards out. We've got a one-man wall there, which is Ben Rama. Ball clipped in now, a bit of a floater, headed back in towards goal, and well taken in the end by Fabianski. So, fairly comfortably dealt with there. by our lot as we break away down the left-hand side. Ball now, yeah, we're just seeking to hang on to the ball a little bit. Donny are all back in position, and we're just playing the ball forward across the field now. Back to Diop. No real urgency. If I'm being honest, I think the heart's gone out of Doncaster since we scored our second. I just want to call out someone who just sent me a message on WhatsApp who is advocating Yarmo to be a regular centre forward for us. No, just no. Okay, just I won't name you, but if you repeat that message to me by telephone, you will be named and shamed, and I'll even put your picture on a global broadcast, which is what this is. No, it's third division Doncaster Rovers. That is not the place to judge a footballer.
Of course, there is a serious point to sort of chat about with regards to that, I guess, because if Rio, God forbid, Mikhail Antonio was to get injured, we might be left with Yarmolenko playing up front. Would you advocate that, or would you sort of be looking at someone else in the squad as an emergency stand-in with no Ian Pearce available, of course, anymore?
No Ian Pearce. There was a rumour early in the season, wasn't there? Issa might play up front, which would even be further down my list of choices, slightly behind myself and Gnome. I can think of worse options than Andre playing that role. But we just know how unpredictable he is, like how he lapses like in mindset at times. He's a player I really do like, but I just don't think he's got the discipline or the wherewithal to do it on a regular basis anymore. As a backup to Antonio, we're obviously forgetting the fact we're going to bring in at least 2 new strikers worth about £50 million each before the end of the deadline. But should worse comes to worse, I would have thought the young lad who's missing out today because he's got a COVID test positive, I think. But I think he would be next in line, really. I can even see Ben Rama being given a game there. But Andre's an option. I just wouldn't want to see it unless it's in times of desperation.
I think Doncaster just recorded a second shot at goal there. I'm not quite sure. It wasn't really a shot. It sort of looked like a pass that went awry. But anyway, Pinky, on that point though, if not Yarmolenko, then who?
Well, that's a different question altogether. Yeah. Playing Yarmolenko because he's the only option, I can live with that, but that doesn't mean he's a good option.
Sure,
that's the point I was making, and in Yarmolenko's favour, we could say, well, there's a player that can't hold a position, lacks the discipline to actually do the donkey work defensively. So the place where he would cause the least damage to the team effort could be as in the striking role. Yeah, these aren't positive reasons to pick him as a striker. That's the point I'm making, and so my mate has just sent me a follow-up message saying the evidence is there for all to see. Open your eyes, man.
Shame him.
I can't do it. I'd rather call him out for cross-dressing on a Saturday night than have his name publicly associated with telling me that Yarmolenko is a striker. I'm sorry, but that's not the answer. And being serious for a moment, this is part of the problem we have as a club.
Yeah.
Our willingness to compromise on make do and mend options. That's how we ended up with Antonio, being played from a right wing back to a right back, now as a striker. It's how we end up always fitting square pegs into round holes. And I'm actually a firm advocate, and still am, even though the squad is threadbare currently, I'd keep gutting it. I would actually sell players in this window who that we know just aren't good enough or who can't do the jobs they're supposed to do. I'd get rid of all the square pegs that we're putting in round holes.
Who are you thinking of specifically here?
I'm thinking of Yarmolenko being one of them, because every time he comes on as the first change, he does things in the opposition's half of the field, but you can't trust him to do the right thing in our half of the field. So he's one. Fredericks is another. Defensively, just not good enough. So we know that. So why keep him? Diop is another one. Unless we spend big and get someone who we can play comfortably with, then he's not the player for us. So we need to move him on. Dare I say it, Manu Lanzini, not the player he once was. It's not his fault, but again, at the very best level, he's not going to do it. And I'd be quite comfortable finishing the season with 14 first-team players who were the right players to create the spaces and remove the excuses, because we can then say to the chairman, look, we need to buy a squad now. That is a decent squad. You know, if ever there's a season to tidy up the mistakes of the past, this is it. We've got a competent manager, and we just need to shift some of the players that we just know they're not right. And you know, suggesting that Yarmolenko is the option up top, yeah, he's an option. You know, as is Souček, as is Diop, as is, you know, Fabianski would do you a turn, you know, in training. But you know, let's be serious. They're not going to trouble Premier League standard centre backs. So let's just stop all that as a thought process.
Okay, good argument. West Ham, we will come back to that in due course, because there's lots of interesting points to chat about there. West Ham have a corner, Rio, if you want to take us through that.
Yep, certainly. It's won by Souček. Just said again, Lanzini staying over it, and Noble. Please, Manuel will take it. No, short to Noble. Dinks into the middle, edge of the box. Benrahma chips it into the far post, headed away by Doncaster, and they're cleared.
Yes, unfortunately coming to nothing on that occasion. But West Ham, as we said, looking comfortable at the moment here, leading Doncaster by 2-0. The defence have done a really good job so far, I think. Fair play. And one of those defenders that we've spoken about quite a lot so far is Diop, Briz. Pinky's saying there that, you know, he thinks he's one that's potentially surplus to requirements if we were looking to thin the squad out a little bit more as the season goes on. What's your view on the young lad there? Do you think that, you know, because he came in and, you know, we had Mourinho, wasn't it? Jose Mourinho singing his praises when we played them when he was at Manchester United. And then brilliant first season, then really sort of went off the boil and struggling to get back in the team completely now.
I think part of it's a system change. I think we have that kind of back six that we drop into, which I think he's very comfortable with. I don't know, part of it's confidence. He's a young lad still, and he's had a couple of bad games, and I think that affected him. I'm with Pinky. I'd let him go. I don't think he's a right fit for this club. And centre back's probably one of the areas of the pitch where we've got, you know, riches in abundance, really. It's an odd one because he looks like he's got potential, but at West Ham, do we have the time to keep him on the books? I mean, we were talking about a financial situation, and I think from all it sounds like, it looks like it's pretty dire. I mean, do we want to keep a player who's got some resale value at the moment whilst we're in that position where we are in desperate need of a striker? You know, and so I agree with Pinky. I'd let him go. I'd let Fredericks go as well. I think he's kind of past his prime. I think that boat sailed for him. But again, I'd let Yarmolenko go. I think Yarmolenko's got no vision at all. I don't think he looks around him often enough. I think he's a selfish player, and I don't think he works hard enough in defence either. So I agree with all of Pinky's choices for letting him out of the club.
Okay, we're just having a little bit of difficulty with your audio there, Briz.
Sorry.
I'm not quite sure why that was. It's been absolutely fine up until now, but as we just see Benrahma break on the right-hand side and look to put a crossing to the centre, which is again cleared by Doncaster, but West Ham look to build once again, and this time it's Lanzini trying his luck from about, about 25, 26 yards, I'd say, as we enter the first of 2 added minutes at the end of this first half. Rio, what are your thoughts on Diop? Do you think he's worth persisting with, or do you think, you know, we've seen enough and it's time to let him go?
I would persist with him. I think that the problem with him at the moment is that he's a pretty sellable asset. That first season when he came in, he was an absolute monster of a back for us.
Yeah, he's
lost his way since then. He needs someone to get hold of him, sit down with him, coach him into the art of defending, rather than there's rumours going around that he's enjoying life outside of football a little bit too much. He's not concentrating what he does on the field.
Yeah,
we saw last season a lot of lapses of concentration defending. He obviously prefers playing on the left-hand side of the defence, which Ogbonna's pretty much got sewn up now. So I think in that term, he's a sellable asset because we have got cover there.
Yeah.
But he's just someone that based on that first season when he was an absolute beast, I'd love to keep him. I'd love to see him, because Angelo's 32 now.
33.
He's got
Yeah.
a hell of a lot of time left at the top flight, and I hope Issa could be the natural successor to that. But I think the financial predicament means that a sellable asset is going to go. Yeah,
it's not looking good for his long-term future at the club right now, is it? That's for sure. And obviously, as Pinky has pointed out, West Ham's dire financial situation right now might mean that the club has no choice but to let him go. But we are still, I think we're just about we're coming up to the half-time break now. And there it is. West Ham 2, Doncaster 0, half-time. Great half for the Hammers, I think. Pinky, what's your first half summary?
Yeah, we've absolutely battered them. I mean, no question about it. We've played all the football, and we've played some good football, but it has to be tempered with the knowledge that we're playing against a third division outfit, albeit one that's on a good run of form. But yeah, you'd expect a team that's been very expensively assembled to show their class against lesser opponents. I mean, the talk there of Yarmolenko leading the line up top and what have you. We've just before half time, we've just seen the very worst of him. A simple pass that he could have made with his right foot, he chooses not to because he doesn't trust it. That's how limited a footballer he is. And I'm sorry, but what exactly does £17 million get you these days? A one-legged footballer? And that brings us back to where the club is. But the first half, we can't ask for more than that. 2 to the good. I don't see Doncaster coming back from here at all. I think by the end, we'll run out probably 4 or 5-0 winners of this afternoon. And in the hat, well, if there was a hat for the next round, was it Manchester United or Liverpool? You'd have to say you'd probably prefer Liverpool at the minute of those two. And that's a phrase I never thought I'd utter.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. You're going great guns right now. Liverpool struggling just a little bit right now. Rio, good half for West Ham there. You think goals coming from Fornals in the 2nd minute and also from Yarmolenko in the 32nd minute. West Ham 2, Doncaster 0. Looking good for the 5th round, I would expect.
Absolutely. We play much the better football. The early goal relaxed us, afforded the opportunity to play a natural kind of game. Lanzini, Benrahma and Fornals have all shone, been able to exploit the obviously deficiencies in Doncaster's midfield and defence. And we look at threat every time we go forward, really. Plus, you've got the added bonus of 2 quality finishes. I mean, it was a great goal by Fornals. Fantastic move. The second, Yarmolenko, was an absolutely exquisite little dinko of the keeper. Yeah. Fortunate that we got it, but Benrahma slid through ball to him. It's a little piece of joy, wasn't it? We're making pretty light work of this. It's very un West Ham-like in the cup to feel comfortable and relaxed. So, yeah, so far, so good. No complaints. There's a little bit of a debate developing in the match, Fred, which we'll come back to after we've gone around the next particular issues, please, mate.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that in just a moment. But let's have a sorry, Briz. Let me come to you first because I haven't done the whole panel yet with regards to your first half thoughts. As we said, West Ham leading 2-0 and looking comfortable. I'm just going to nip round and pull the curtain because I don't know if you can see, but the sun's shining right in my eyes here. So over to you, Briz, for the next minute or two.
Yeah, you went completely green then, so I guess that was what caused it. Yeah, I think we've been absolutely comfortable. I think it's almost been a walk in the park for us this afternoon. Really, really comfortable on the ball. We've looked effective going forward. We've looked effective at the back, and it's unusual for us to have a whole team performance. Sometimes we're good going forward, sometimes we're good defending. Tonight, this afternoon, rather, we've had a whole team performance. Buoyed by the news that Arsenal have been dumped out of the cup as well at Southampton, which is great news.
Did it finish 1-0 in the end?
Yeah, it finished 1-0. So, yeah, their season's just going downhill even more, which I take absolute delight in seeing every result that goes against them. Yeah, sad for them, isn't it? I think we've just been really, really good this afternoon. I think the players on the pitch couldn't have done anything more than's been asked of them. So, again, yeah, and I keep hoping I hate saying this, but we do have to bear in mind the opposition. But we've looked comfortable.
Do you see any possibility that Doncaster might get back into this, Bruce?
No, nothing for me. It's only going to get worse. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see us 5-0. Wouldn't be surprised.
Well, let's see. We didn't do predictions, did we, at the start of the game this week? Something else we forgot to do. But anyway, I'm sure we would have all predicted a West Ham win, and that's the way it's transpired so far. Let's have a quick roundup of the match threads on the two forums. Let's go to Doncaster first. Beautiful part of the world, Doncaster, as I'm sure you'll know if you've been there. And let's see what the locals think of that opening 45 minutes. I'm sure they're not quite as happy as us, Pinky.
I think that's fair comment. And Donny Dub, who clearly doesn't get out much, says, "What a huge stadium it is. It might have been filled today too in different circumstances." Donny, no, it wouldn't have been. That much we can promise you. But no, I mean, they are shot to pieces. I'll be happy to shake hands now and walk off without any injuries or bookings. Oh, hang on. Diarnath, the BBC commentators are so condescending. Does that mean the BBC commentators are actually saying nice things about West Ham? I wonder. Next one, Freelo's going, "I don't care what level the opposition are at. There's no excuse for the poor passing we have done. And also, don't play a free kick back to the keeper. FSS, whatever that means. I'm not too sure, as you can imagine. But yeah, I mean, it's wholesale negativity from the Donny fans, and I think that's a bit harsh. I think, in fairness, they've tried to play. They're up against a very, very strong team from West Ham United, and you just put it down to the fact there's a reason why we are 2 divisions above them. Let's not forget, we're flying high in our league as well. It's very easy to forget that at this point in time. What are we, 7th in the table, 2 points behind last year's champions?
Yeah.
I think at the halfway stage last season, we were 30 odd points behind them. So that's kind of like shows, Liverpool have come back a bit, but we've moved forward a long way in terms of how we're playing.
Yeah.
And today's just an extension of that, a continuation of that. So for me, Doncaster Rovers fans, don't be too hard on yourselves. You ain't that bad. We are that good.
Yeah, West Ham have been excellent in that first half, as we said, putting some clear daylight between ourselves and Doncaster, our opponents this afternoon. Before we have a look at Rio's roundup of the KUMB.com forum match thread, quick look at some of the other scores elsewhere. Barnsley and Norwich is 0-0. These are all FA Cup fourth round ties. Of course, as Briz mentioned, Southampton have dumped cup holders Arsenal out of the competition. The Saints winning 1-0 against the Gunners down there. Barnsley and Norwich, as I said, 0-0. Brighton and Blackpool holding Brighton to a 1-1 score at the moment. Thank you very much. And Millwall being beaten at home by Bristol City. No doubt that will be cheered on by all of us here, and especially by Bristol Hammer, of course, who hails from that part of the world. Beautiful part of the world. Sheffield United are leading against Plymouth Argyle, 1-0 at half-time, while Swansea are beating Forest in that all-championship tie over in Wales. So that's about it so far from the FA Cup. Rio, match thread at KUMB.com. Surely the natives are all happy this week.
Oh, everyone's really delighted. Kit the Cars put. It's a great assist from Benny and a super finish from Yama. This kind of game is now perfectly set up for us to practice our final ball and decision making, which has been really poor all season.
Yep.
Hammers 92 has agreed with Pinky. There's no way Yarmolenko should be starting up front in the Premier League game, in his opinion. Steps has put, Mr. Sullivan, I've got the director of Seville's football on the phone. They're willing to discuss the possible transfer and Nisery. Yarmolenko scores. Yeah, hang on. Tell him I'll be back in a bit. Hand the Dog has put, playing really well, very little danger, with loads of danger coming from us. Really good half with some nice slick football. More of the same, please. Wolf 359 has put, we were in danger of becoming not a joke club anymore. We're professional, clinical, and dominant. It feels like I'm watching someone else's team. But the thing is, the biggest talking point of the first half on the forum has come from Monkey Bubbles, who has put, has Mark Noble dyed his hair?
We had that months ago. I mean, Monkey Bubbles, I mean, do keep up, pal. We were talking about that, what? Just after, the restart. So, you know, we're not having that as breaking news. Sorry. I mean, that's,
It's not breaking news, but I think it's a valid point because, everyone knows what everyone else got for Christmas, right? Mark's clearly been stocked up on a Grecian 2000 a little bit more. And, someone's put here, Will Noble's new hair rewarded him with a new contract because he's looking a lot younger, This is the kind of thing that our chairman would be looking at. So I think it is a valid point.
Is the chairman
Yeah.
Okay.
I've not seen him yet. It's a good point. So there you go. The big talking point for the first half at West Ham versus Doncaster. Not the goals, not the FA Cup or what's going on. This is Mark Noble dyed his hair again. As we know, Mark's thinning a little bit at the front as he enters his 30s. One of those curses that strikes a lot of us at that point in their lives. And maybe he's undergone a bit of treatment just to cover it up there. So we shall see what's going on there. Rio, we have a comment on your shirt on the live chat on the YouTube channel on KUMBTV. Jay says, Rio, you've outdone yourself. I should really do this in the voice of that advert for those. What was the chocolates? Rio, you have outdone yourself with the helmet T-shirt, Champions League record collection. With these T-shirts, you're really spoiling us. I don't know who Jay is, but obviously a big fan of the helmet.
Yeah, I think he commented the other night that Parkway Drive weren't a worthy follow-up to Anthrax. There's a lot of good bands out there, mate, isn't there? There's a lot of good bands. Spread the love. There's more coming.
There you go. Rio keeping us entertained with his plethora and a veritable wardrobe of T-shirts, band T-shirts. Not the same one every week. It's great stuff. Great stuff. Mark says, I'm in the Newcastle RVI with COVID watching your stream. Come on, you Irons. Mark, we wish you all the very best for a speedy recovery, buddy. And, let us know how you're getting.
He ain't got COVID. That's the 2 days off card he's playing.
Mark also, on a serious note, Mark English says he's also suffering with COVID at the moment and is watching from home. So Mark, to both Marks, Mark with the C and Mark with the K, and of course anyone else struggling with that at the moment, we wish you all the very best. Get well soon, and keep coming onto the stream and let us know how you're getting on anyway. But it is half time. It's West Ham 2, Doncaster 0. Some match stats for you from the first half. Possession, West Ham 65% possession to Doncaster's 35%. Shots, West Ham 7 shots so far to Doncaster's 2. So clearly that second sort of shot come pass back to Fabianski was counted as a shot by the statisticians. Shots on target, West Ham 4 to Doncaster's 1. That's Doncaster's only effort on goal coming from that header in the 37th minute that proved to be an easy save for Lucas Fabianski. 1 corner apiece so far, West Ham committing 4 fouls to Doncaster's 1. So the Hammers comfortably ahead on the score sheet and comfortably ahead, according to the statistics. Second half will be coming up very, very soon. Pinky, what are we thinking about here? With West Ham, we've got a couple of goals in the bag. We're looking comfortable. Do you think David Moyes might ring the changes early on here and maybe introduce 1 or 2 of the youngsters?
I don't think so. We all know 2-0 is a very dangerous scoreline. I think Moyes will give it at least 15 minutes before he does anything, and I think he'd be wise to. Let's make absolutely certain that the spirit has gone completely from Doncaster Rovers.
Yep.
Give them nothing, get the job done, then put on 1 or 2 of the youngsters, and probably only 1 youngster, if I'm being honest, because they're a 3rd division team, but they're not a pub team. And, ultimately, Liverpool or Manchester United in the next round, our players have got something to play for as well. I think what will be really interesting, assuming we get through today, is who's he going to pick for that round of the Cup against those 2 teams? because I can certainly see if it turns out to be Liverpool, we're likely to be playing a second string Liverpool team because they've got a bit of catch up to play in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure how strong Manchester United's second string would be at the minute either. So, there's an opportunity here for West Ham United to say, put this game to bed, get it won, and the next round may not be quite as fearsome as it could be in a regular season. So make sure we win here today first and foremost. So no changes for me, certainly not to start with.
Yeah, do you know, I absolutely echo your thoughts on that potential next round. I think it's a really good opportunity for West Ham this season, given the fact that Liverpool have got so many games to play, and Manchester United, of course, now got their eye on a potential league title, which, given what everyone said, I suppose, just a few weeks ago, is quite something else. But so we're seeing the players emerge from the tunnel for the second half of this afternoon's fourth round FA Cup tie between West Ham and Doncaster. I'm just having a look at the players there. Briz, have you spotted any new faces at half time? Of course, we can't really tell with Doncaster, but it looks like the same West Ham players are coming out anyway, I think, so far.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Martin Noble definitely dyed his hair. I watched him come out then, and the wind took it, and you could see the roots. Terrible roots. So he needs to sort that out. I was surprised at your possession stats. I mean, I thought they said Doncaster had 35%.
Yeah.
Possible beginning when they passed the ball back, but we've just looked dominant. And I think I agree with Pinky. I think we'll keep the players as they are. I wouldn't be surprised to see Antonio come on. I think he's been away injured a couple of weeks. Maybe they'll give him a couple more minutes on the pitch just to get him fit, bring him up to speed. Interestingly, the young lad who we would normally have on the bench, who plays up front, I've forgotten his name now, had a false positive for his COVID test. So apparently he would have been playing today if he'd not had that test. It turns out it was a false positive anyway. So he'd been isolated without any need to, which is a bit of a shame. But I think we'll keep it the way it is. I think we'll go a couple more goals, and then I think we'll see some.
Good stuff. We are underway in the second half. No changes for West Ham at the break, as you'd expect, given the circumstances. No need to change things, really. And, second half underway. Rio, what are we hoping for in this half? More of the same, I guess, really?
Yeah, exactly. Just keep it tight. As I say that, Ben Johnson's just going to ball away in midfield. Yeah, you've got to keep it tight, keep it simple. Just do what we was doing in the first half, Let's not make this difficult for ourselves. Let's keep the professional attitude. Let's play the nice football. Let's just get the thirds. Then we can relax a little bit. Maybe bring on a couple of youngsters to try and get the experience.
Yeah, good stuff. I've just seen a really good interception from Mark Noble there. Don't know what, maybe he's been doing a bit of strength and conditioning training in the last few weeks, but showed that extreme burst of pace in the first half, Pinky, and another little burst of pace there to intercept that ball and set up another potential attack.
He was moving like my mate Lyndon, trying to get to the first pint of the night. That burst in the first half. Normally, Lyndon comes in from work and he covers the 10 yards from the door to the bar in 0.0001 of a second. Yeah. Which is twice the time it takes him to sink the first pint of an evening. But I mean, a rare burst of pace from Noble. It looks like Yarmo's just wants a free kick on the edge of the Donny box. So let's see what we can make from this now. What we're going to do here. Let's just see. Let's see if the ref can count to 10. That's the starting point, I think.
Well, it looks like Noble and Ben Rama are kind of discussing what to do here. I'm kind of hoping it's not Noble who's going to take this, but it looks like Ben Rama's lining this one up, Briz, for a potential little effort at goal. And it's really strong position, as Pinky said, 19, 20 yards from goal.
Yeah, it's going to be a shot on goal. We know that. It's just rolling up to take it now. Here he goes. So... keeper makes a good save. I think that was just sneaking inside the pace. So, again, I'm glad Mike Noble didn't take it as well, because I think that would have been back straight into the wall and away again. That was quite a decent chance then.
We've lost Bristol Hammer. Bristol Hammer has disappeared, just as he's commenting on that effort from Ben Rama. Good save from the Donny goalkeeper as well, down low to his right, Ellery Balcombe. Making a great save to keep it at 2-0. But good start to the second half. Rio, West Ham looking you know, we said, didn't we, the other day that, you know, we kind of fell asleep, didn't we, for those first 10 minutes against Albion. But we seem to be on the ball a bit more now.
Yeah, it's just the kind of attitude we've got to come out with. I think Moyes have actually got into them. Although there's a few changes in the lineup, we can't afford to make the mistakes we did the other night. You have to keep on our mettle for 90 minutes, not certain phases of the game.
Yeah.
There's a couple more comments from the forum in the aftermath of the second half.
Yep.
Profit marginal. If we carry on playing through Benrahma and Fornells will easily run out of winners. I wish Lanzini would just relax a little. He's been the least accurate so far. Doncaster either have a word of themselves during the break so they can offer more threat, or frankly can't make the gunner coach home. It's a perfect opportunity for some of our lesser picked players to make an impression. More for the mayor. Really enjoying the interplay between the front four. Professional first half performance and not banana skin I was expecting. And Samuel Paul Thomas has put, Benrahma deserves a goal here. Has been really good. And I think it has been his brightest performance in quite a while.
Oh, good shot there. Lanzini using his left peg, turned, spun, cracked one off from 18 yards, and good save by the keeper. And the keeper had to make it because it very much looked like it was on target. So, yeah, well done, Lanzini. Forces a safe corner kick.
Yeah, it's a very good save, actually, isn't it? Again, from Balcom, who's had to be very alert so far, making two very smart saves in the opening 5 minutes of the half, one at either side, as we've just seen the ball come in again, but it's coming to nothing so far. As I said, 50 minutes gone, West Ham 2, Doncaster 0. The Hammer's putting on the pressure. I should just stress that Bristol Hammer will be back with us very shortly. He's just had a bit of an issue with his internet connection. So he's just rebooting down there for us, and he'll be back on the stream
Hang on,
pretty
just
soon.
a quick bit of Love Glove. I've just been doing a quick count of who's wearing gloves for West Ham United.
Yes, who have we got today?
Utterly appalled, absolutely appalled to see a centre-back for West Ham United wearing gloves. I'm sorry, but the great Alvin Martin would never wear gloves. And Issa Diop, take them off, chuck them to the sideline. You are never, ever going to make it at this club as a centre-back wearing gloves. It's that simple. I'm not having it. Heavens above, it's not that cold out there.
Anyone else? I think is that Lanzini is sporting a pair of
and Yarmolenko, and Benrahma. You look at the lads from up north, Doncaster. They're there with short sleeve shirts. They're not even sent for their big coats. Yeah,
I think that might be a record, Pinky, 4 in one team.
And the day of shame. There's your headline, Graham, when you're doing your post-match roundup. West Ham United's day of shame. 4 players wearing gloves. Yeah, not having it. Appalling
scenes at the Olympic Stadium. 4 hammers in gloves, including a centre half, as Pinky's pointed out there. What's the world coming to? I don't know. 51 minutes gone. West Ham United 2, Doncaster Rovers 0. West Ham with the only 2 efforts at a goal so far this half. But the Hammers looking strong and looking good for a passage through to the 5th round, where we'll of course be facing either Manchester United or Liverpool in the next round. Rio, what do you make of this half so far? Are you pretty pleased with the way West Ham set their stall out?
Yeah, we're pretty much continuing in the same vein. We're passing the ball around nicely. A couple of really good chances already. As I say, Ben Johnson just put a ball in the box, but headed away. Only as far as Souček. Oh, dear. Souček hit the ball coming from Johnson, headed away by the defence. Just dropped to Souček, who hit on the volley, and he's forced a really good save again from the keeper. So we've got a corner. But yeah, it's a great volley. Dropping really slowly, but Souček got his foot over it, aiming for the top corner. Would have been a fantastic goal, but it's a great save.
Yeah, it was indeed. And it's brilliantly executed by Souček, who watched the ball come down and got his angles right to keep the ball under the bar. And Ellery Balcom in between the sticks for Doncaster is doing his own calls no harm at all so far, with 3 excellent saves inside the first 7 minutes, as we see Benrahma with chipping the ball towards the back post for Souček. And there's Balcom. There's that man again, Pinky. 4 saves now inside the first 8 minutes.
Absolutely, and much more of this, and the chairman's actually going to be renumbering the squad, and actually the squad numbers will be in millions the price of the player. So, for example, Souček at 28 will be 28 million, You know, Noble's obviously a £16 million player. You know, you could just imagine the chairman at half time. Oh, and it's an own goal by Donny. Fabulous. Great finish, son. Well done. Sign him up. Yeah. You can go all the way home on the bus and your teammates are going to be upset with you. Yeah. Nice to see the professionals do it as well. But no, I mean, you know, I've just got this image of Sully outside the ground, you know, like on car forecourts where they used to put the price of the car on the windshield.
Yeah, plastic stickers and all that.
You know, and depending on, you know, you could walk past the same car 3 times in a week and have 3 different sets of numbers on it. Yeah. I've just got this image of our chairman trying to sell some of our players on that basis. I don't know why that comes to me like that, but what a great finish by the Doncaster lad. I mean, you don't save those. Yeah, in it goes. Well done.
I'm trying to see. Is it John Cameron? I think it might have been responsible, but it's isn't it? Oh, Rio, it's one of those where you just want the ground to open up and swallow you, isn't it? The corner swung across. I think Mark Noble might get an assist for that. It's Butler, actually. Andy Butler, who was responsible. What a finish, as Pinky says. I mean, you know, all he's got to do under no pressure whatsoever, just got to hook it out, and he's got it all wrong, hasn't he? And it's a nightmare.
Well, the poor lad Butler, I mean, he's obviously a massive football fan, watches a lot of Premier League football. I think he was just completely stunned that a Mark Noble corner was actually in the dangerous area. You know, he thought, I was expecting us to kind of drift out of play or just into the first defender. No one told me he could get it over the top of the defender, and he was so shocked by that, he's put his own net. So, yeah, it's a definite assist from Mark Noble. Brilliant piece of mind play. Brilliant.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Just see Darren Moore as they're all getting on the team bus to go back to Donning, you know. I hate you, Butler. Yeah, all of that, you know, when they're on the buses, you know. But,
get that bus out.
Yeah.
According to Hobo Pinky, he reckons that David Sullivan has made the players wear those gloves, and that they're connected on a string up the shirt sleeves so the shirts don't get lost or given away at the end of the game to the opposition.
To be fair, yeah, I like that. Yeah,
fair point. You know. Fair point. 55 minutes gone. West Ham United coasting now, I think it's fair to say, leading Doncaster Rovers of League One by 3-0. The opening goal coming after just 90 seconds from Pablo Fornells, and Andrei Yarmolenko doubling West Ham's advantage in the 32nd minute, which is now extended to 3 following an absolute shocker of an own goal by poor Andy Butler from Doncaster. Now, I've got that own goal, Pinky Rio, kind of got who was it who scored the own goal? The young lad, blonde hair, scored the own goal up at Blackpool that time when we Blackburn when we lost 7-1. Was it Grant McCann? McCann. It's just what it reminded me of. For some reason, I'm just seeing a flashback to that, and the kind of the look of disdain that he gives himself after the goal as well. You know, that was I think that was his only goal for West Ham, wasn't it, Paul McCann?
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, you'd like to think as teammates, when they get back in the dressing room, we all just say, look, a good finish is a good finish. Fair you know, and, you know, it all takes practice. Burying the ball, I mean, you never know when you're actually going to do it at the right end of the pitch. So working on your skills, yeah, just do it. You know, I've got no problem with decent own goals. The own goals I don't like are the ones that are a bit scrappy and, you know, the player can't really take credit for it. But in that case, we've just seen there from Donny, he meant that. You know, I'm getting on the score sheet. The history books will show me as having scored at the London Stadium, you know, Jamie Carragher style. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was, we're just seeing Lanzini look to shape up and shoot before laying the ball into Ben Rama, whose shot was deflected. And then I think it was Souček who's tried the overhead kick. No, sorry, it's Fornells. Pablo Fornells tried an overhead kick and has only ended up injuring himself. He's clutching the back of his head. So he looks to be in some discomfort there as there's a pause in the game. Bristol Hammer has returned. Briz, you missed the 3rd goal there. What did you make of that own goal from Doncaster?
Amateur one. I mean, if the last thing you want to do is head the ball back into your own net at the far pace where the ball's doing nothing. But yeah, again, it just shows that we've had the endeavour, we've been working hard, and it goes back to what I was saying about the intent to win the game. All of a sudden, you know, they're under pressure, they're going to make mistakes, and we're 3-0 up. And like I said, there's only one way I can see us going now, and I think we'll be 5-0 at the end.
Yeah. We've just seen a shot on the TV cameras of David Moyes having a chat with his assistant there, and we can only assume, I think, Briz, that he's looking at potential substitutions now. Do you think it's maybe time to rest one or two, given that the game's pretty much dead and we're an hour in?
Yeah, we're 3-0 up. For me, you don't want to do anything too disastrous. So I think for me, I'd maybe, if you're going to give a youngster a run out, go for Baptiste now. Maybe take off Noble would be a good shout. Game's won. Nothing much in it now. He's not under too much pressure. He's had a decent game, and at this stage of his career, you want to be taking him off and resting him, just in case. But I wouldn't do too much else at the moment. I'd maybe bring Baptiste on, and then a bit later in the game, Antonio, I think, may come on. I don't think he'll do more than 2 though, unless he's pressed to, because that's not his MO. But it's Doncaster on one of their rare attacks. Balls in the middle, should have done a bit better there, actually.
Yeah, West Ham unusually caught a bit short at the back there, 2 against 2. But as Briz pointing out rightly, it was a poor ball in, and West Ham managing to clear okay. Mark English certainly agrees that it's time to rest a few players now, he says on the YouTube chat as we approach the hour mark. West Ham leading Doncaster Rovers 3-0 and looking very, very comfortable as we speak. Pinky, we were disappointed, weren't we, last week with the start to the second half against West Brom. Looked good in the first half, looked good for the most of the second half by that opening 10 minutes. Does this tell us anything? The opening 15 minutes here, we've seen West Ham come out and create 4 shots and score from a fifth, or it wasn't really a shot, was it? But scoring from, the own goal. Do you think perhaps David Moyes has sort of, reminded them that we need to be sharp from the off? Or do you think it's just because it's a league?
I'm sure he would do. I mean, it's how refreshing it is that we seem to have a manager who actually wants to win cup games, and has the, dare I say it, relative luxury of a league position that allows them to field a reasonably strong starting 11, in trying to do that. So, he absolutely would have said to the players, go and finish the job. And at 3-0, no doubt about it, the job is done. I guess he's kind of helped by it being a bit of a chilly day. The players would rather run around a bit today than stand still, that's for certain. Because professional footballers or not, good shot there from the Donny lad, and just off the bar, I think. Unfortunate there for Doncaster, but I think he might be tempting to making a few changes now. Doncaster are about to bring a couple of lads on, and we'll see. They'll move first. I think one youngster and one youngster only will get a game for us today. Personally, I'd bring on Dawson just to make sure he can kick one of the Doncaster players in the head, I don't just do it to the top flight players. I'll do it to anyone. But no, seriously, I think maybe Hook the captain. He's had a run around for an hour, and he doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. So I'll bring Noble off and stick one of the youngsters on.
That opportunity for Doncaster, the closest they've come to scoring yet in the match. Matt Smith it was, who was found at the far post by a deep cross, took it on the half volley. Lucas Fabianski, well beaten. No doubt the cross coming in from John Taylor. And Matt Smith there meeting it, just taking one touch before taking it on the half volley. The ball absolutely smashing off the woodwork. As I said, Fabianski well beaten, but the ball going to safety. West Ham, a bit of a lucky escape there, Rio, as we just have a pause in play for a bit of an injury to a Doncaster player.
Yeah, it's by far their best chance for Doncaster. We're 3-0 up. We've eased off a little bit, and momentary lapse. But it's going to be a rare one. Then the game's done and dusted now. Even I can't see us losing 4-3 from this one, and I've seen it 2 or 3 times in my career. It's just one of those things, isn't it? Doncaster have got to come out. They've got to try and play a little bit of football now and enjoy themselves. And they did there. And to be fair, it was a well-worked move, good effort. Yeah. Unlucky not to score.
Yeah, very, very close, weren't they? And I'm not quite sure who this is. And the player receiving treatment is Jason Lockilo, who still looks a little bit groggy there. As we said, Doncaster warming up a couple of substitutes. Perhaps Lockilo will be one of those coming off. We're seeing the changes made right now as I speak. Briz, I don't know if you want to take us through who they are.
No, I don't know who they are, to be honest.
Well, I can tell you it is Lockilo who's coming off, and Elliot Simoes is the player coming on. So that's the first change of the afternoon. It's coming from the visitors, Doncaster, with 63, just a little bit more than 63 minutes on the clock. The first change. We're still waiting for West Ham to do that. And interestingly, Matt Smith, who just had that shot that crashed against the crossbar, was also off, replaced by Taylor Richards. So Rio, double change for Donny now, and you'd expect that like us, they see the game gone now.
Yeah, they're obviously bringing on the players mind the Leicester and the stuff, because the first lad who come on had both gloves and an undershirt, and for a northern lad, that's not acceptable. I think Pinky would say.
No, definitely not. So 64 minutes gone anyway. West Ham 3, Doncaster 0. This one sort of just going to be, you would expect, rolling towards its natural conclusion now, which would be a West Ham win. Gnome is here. Gnome is back. He's appearing on the YouTube chat. He says, how refreshing to see subs actually wearing their match kit. Of course, those who follow the live stream will know that Gnome is often bemoaning the fact that players get called up to come on the pitch and spend the next 4 or 5 minutes changing into their match kit. So, Gnome, let us know what you think of the referee as well so far, because I don't think anyone here has barely mentioned him. Seems to have done a fairly adequate job. Pinky's back now with 65 minutes gone. West Ham United 3, Doncaster Rovers 0. Doncaster with 2 changes. West Ham looking comfortable, and would you expect to see any changes coming up soon, Pinky?
For West Ham? As I said, I think he'll hook one of the lads, probably Noble, I would think, in due course, and give a youngster a game. 3-0, we're okay. Maybe with 15 minutes to go, that kind of thing, just to give someone a bit of first team experience. But, no one can complain with what they've seen today, surely.
Yeah.
This has been the consummate professional performance by West Ham, and we've looked very good. We've looked quite easy on the eye, albeit against a team that has shown not very much, for being honest. I thought Stockport, even allowing for the conditions, were a much harder battle than we've seen today. For being honest, I think it's almost as if Darren Moore said to them, we're going to focus on the league. Promotion's more important to us than getting around a game against Liverpool and Man United in an empty stadium. And that's the thing. And I just wonder sometimes, particularly this season, the fact the grounds are empty, maybe one or two of the teams that might have fought tooth and nail in some games this competition have just said, what's the point?
Yeah, very much so. Just on that, actually, quickly, Doncaster have set up a scheme that they have entitled I Wasn't There this week for their supporters, whereby their fans can contribute £10 towards the club, for which they get a free programme and their name on the side of the team bus, which all goes to help, because as you know, that the gate receipts for FA Cup ties are generally split 50-50. Hence why for lower league clubs, it can be quite a lucrative campaign if they go through. We've just seen Ben Rama unleash a shot from 23 yards that cannons back off a defender, being blocked completely as West Ham look to build again on the left. So, unfortunately for clubs like Doncaster and Chorley, who we saw earlier this week, missing out on big time on funds. Just a quick look before we come back to this game at some of the other scores in the FA Cup 4th round. Barnsley leading Norwich City 1-0. Brighton have taken the lead against Blackpool. They now lead 2-1. Millwall's deficit against Bristol City is now doubled. Bristol City, a big smile down there, as I can see from Bristol Hammer FC, beating Millwall 2-0, looking comfortable. Their Sheffield United have also doubled their advantage against Plymouth, leading 2-0, and Swansea have extended their lead against Forest to 3-1. West Ham, of course, 3-0 up here against Doncaster. Later in the day, we've got Cheltenham versus Manchester City, and then tomorrow, West Ham find out who they'll be playing in the 5th round, assuming, of course, that there isn't a disaster here in the next 22-23 minutes, as Manchester United and Liverpool face off at 5 o'clock Also in action tomorrow in the fourth round, Chelsea against Luton, Brentford against Leicester, Fulham against Burnley, and Everton against Sheffield Wednesday. Just over 20 minutes left to go now, Rio. Shall we dip into the KUMB.com forum match thread and see what people are saying at the halfway stage in this second half?
Yeah, certainly. 61 Dixies for the praise of Thomas Souček. He's such a great player. What a bargain. Sublime to watch and rarely screws up. As I'd say, we're just driving the penalty area and it's come to nothing. He's an absolute diamond to find. Steve Potts, his goal has put 3-0 up. This is not the West Ham that I love. Collision theory. I never thought Noble was an outstanding corner taker, but he really put thought into them. Trying to pick someone out like that instead of just whipping it in. Great start to the first half. Rigobert Song. He's pretty much along the ilk of me. As a long-suffering fan, I sit and feel how we're going to lose this 4-3. Cross Hammers has put, this is regarding Souček, he's a better team player since the break too. And he's put 4-0 as Souček had a cracking game so far, and Nobles looked great today and all. I'm really enjoying the lack of fake crowd noise. Yeah, there's always positives. Just one other post. This is from the Andrei Yarmolenko thread, which I dived into quickly.
Okay.
He's put, I've been advocating this bloke as a backup striker since we signed him, particularly as he plays there for Ukraine. I've said before that he's dangerous at both ends of the pitch when he comes from the play as a winger. Relieved of defensive responsibilities, he's a great attacker. I'll take him off now, keep him fresh from starting at Palace, possibly even alongside Antonio. And I've just checked up on his record for Ukraine. And he's something like 38 goals in 92 appearances, and he's played most of them as a striker for them.
Looks like we're making a change.
Okay. Breeze?
Yeah, looks like number 40. I don't recognise him, so it's got to be one of the youngsters. Possibly.
Yeah, Afolayan, the 23-year-old striker we mentioned at the start of the game.
So I would suggest that's probably going to be Yarmolenko that comes off. Couldn't see then. Just waiting to see it.
Like Souček to me.
Yeah, it looked like Souček to me as well, but I couldn't quite see. So yeah, Souček off.
So
statement of intent.
Yeah, West Ham's first change of the game coming with just about 20 minutes left to go. We spoke about him before the game started. Afolayan, the young, well, not so young anymore. Say young forward. He's 23 now. He's older than Declan Rice. So no youngster. He's out of contract at the end of the season. Began his career at Chelsea. Moved to Toronto in Canada with his family. Returned to England a little bit later to join Solihull, where he scored 16 goals in 38 games for the non-league club before securing a move to West Ham in 2018, where he signed a 3.5-year deal, which, as I said, expires at the end of this year. Has previously spent time on loan at Oldham and Mansfield, but never appeared for the first team before. So an opportunity for him to show what he can do here today. Souček, of course, the man going off. Yeah, so 20 minutes to go. West Ham leading Doncaster 2-0. We've just had a roundup of the West Ham comments. Pinky, is there anything happening over on the Doncaster forum? I guess they've all given up and gone home by now, haven't they?
Yeah, there's from clearly one of the new posters, because it's his first post, from someone called Sully. And it says, the COVID lockdown has been very tough on football finances. And given the absence of gate money today, we were hoping people would buy a virtual ticket. So if Doncaster Rovers supporters could help us out in any way, we'd be most appreciative. I don't know if anyone actually thinks that's a good idea from Sully, but there you go. So that's his contribution to Viking Chat. But no, I mean, they know the game's up at on Viking Chat. They were hoping to keep it to 2-0. When the third went in, that was it. And I think they're all kind of down the pub already, if you know what I mean. They've given up.
Yeah, you can't blame them, really. We just, as we see Ben Rama try and loft a ball towards the far post, but once again, it's taken by. Actually, if I had to choose a man of the match from a neutral perspective so far, I think I'd be going for Ellery Balcom in the Doncaster goal. He's been excellent, I think, throughout this match. He's conceded 3 goals, but you can't exactly say that he could have done a lot about them. But I think it might have been 7 or 8 had it not been for his intervention on 1 or 2 occasions.
Well, and Doncaster have come very close to scoring now, and just wasted it. Ball got put through. He had a one-on-one, but he took it just slightly too wide than forward. Yeah, I've got to agree with you. I mean, out of all the players on the pitch, he's had by far the better game. He's been outstanding. And had we been in the position where we needed a backup keeper, I'd be looking at his age and thinking, could he possibly do a little job for us? Yeah, I mean, our players, we've been pretty much in control. We've absolutely dominated. And like you said, without him, it could have been easy 7 or 8-0.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, Ellery Balcombe, he's just to give you a little bit of information about him. He began his career at Brentford and then spent time at loan at Bournemouth and Viborg, and he's actually on loan now at Doncaster. His parent club is at Brentford. He's only 21, 6'3" goalkeeper, but he's played for the England under 18s, 19s, and 20s. So he's obviously someone Nathan Trott, West Ham's young goalkeeper, will know well from that. But yeah, obviously a player of some pedigree, and certainly hasn't done himself any harm today, if anyone is sort of keeping an eye on him out there. We're just seeing, just going back to that chance there, actually, Breeze, we just saw Doncaster with that chance, and I think it was their number 9, Okenabiri, who rounded Fabianski and then sort of took the shot across. I didn't see a flag go up from the
miles offside, absolutely miles offside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether the lines person or assistant referee, whatever they're called, no flagged, but God, he must have been doing something else, must have been doing his shoelaces up or something, because he was so far offside. It's ridiculous. Just a point to let you know that Lanzini switched into the 2-check role now, which again, very odd, because that's kind of defensive midfield role. Yeah, so interesting that he's playing there. And we're attacking, we're in the box now, and we've lost the ball. And Doncaster are countering.
Yeah, Yarmolenko a little bit slow off the blocks there, I think, and conceding possession. But Pinky, I think you've got to say, full credit to Doncaster. They're out this game. There's no question about it. I don't think we're going to see a West Ham at Tottenham kind of recovery here in the final 10 minutes or so. But they're still giving it a go, aren't they? They're having a crack. It's fair to say. Yeah,
look. They're not a pub team, they're a full-time professional side. These guys are getting paid good salaries to play for Doncaster Rovers. So, let's not see them as people that are having to deliver the post tomorrow morning, as they've just cracked another shot off that's forced to save from Fabianski. But, as we said right at the top of the show, they've won 7 of their last 8 games in all competitions. So they're in a good run of form, and bad teams don't hit good runs of form. So they're not a bad team. They're just up against better opponents today, and they'll run around. They're trying to play the game, but the real moments of class have all come from West Ham. No doubt about that at all.
Yeah, very much so. The Hammers strolling comfortably towards the 5th round of the competition, as we say. There's about 14 minutes left to go on the clock. West Ham United 3, Doncaster Rovers 0. That shot, forcing, it's another good save there, actually, Rio, from Fabianski. Doncaster with the man over on the left-hand side for that move just a few moments ago that we were referring to just there. And I'm just seeing that they're looking to build again, but West Ham managing to knock them out on that occasion. But yeah, I mean, they're having a go, aren't they, Doncaster? They're certainly beginning to, put us under a little bit of pressure, shall we say, at the back.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, once we've gone 3-0 up, we took the foot off the pedal a little bit, and we've afforded them a little bit more time, a little bit more space, and it's starting to play some nice little bits of football, Doncaster. And,
lovely touch. Lovely touch.
Yeah, we're just on the break now.
Yes.
4-0. 4-0. Oh. And it's the youngster.
It is.
Lion.
Brilliant. And it's West Ham United 4, Doncaster 0. He's been on the pitch. Well, he came on in the 70th minute. It's almost Freddie Sears-esque, you could say, the finish. A debut goal for Afolayan. His first start for the club. He's been on the pitch for a matter of minutes, and he has his first goal, Bruce. Fantastic stuff for the youngster. Brizzy's in shock at the beauty of that goal. I think I'm there.
Sorry,
Sorry,
I was just watching the build up again.
yeah,
Pablo
great
Fornals
touch
has
by
been-
Fornals as well there, as Pinky pointed out. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, again, I think Pablo Fornals for me has been my man of the match. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I don't understand some of the negativity towards him on the forums when I go on there and watch it, because his work rate in the game is absolutely outstanding. He puts in both ends of the pitch. He's always looking for the ball. He's not a player you can never say will be a lazy player. And I'm delighted for the youngster to see him get his goal. You were right about Freddie Sears. I was thinking more was Avon Hines, but
yeah,
definitely. I mean, hopefully he doesn't go the same way, but yeah, it's always good to see a youngster come on. Even better when they score a goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to damn the youngster with faint praise here. You know, he has put himself in exactly where he should be for when a keeper spills the ball.
Yep.
You know, I'm going to be there and I'm going to take it. Dare I say it, Cavani-like from the other night. And he's earned the right to the goal by working hard to get himself in the position where when the ball is coughed, thanks very much, I'll have that. That's a good habit to have for a young footballer. Well played to him.
Yeah, very much so. Now we've just coming back to the game. We've just seen Fabian Balbuena hit the deck, and he seems to be struggling a little bit. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Pinky sort of got wrapped around. It looks like Nathan Trott is actually going to come on for West Ham, which will be an interesting change. But strange one that from Balbuena. Pinky, didn't look like there's anything in that.
I didn't notice it, to be honest. I was waxing lyrical about the young lad. So here we go with Mr. Trott coming on, which will be interesting. First game for him, for Nathan?
Yep.
Yeah, first game for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nathan Trott, of course, we were just saying a few moments ago, a regular, even though he was born in Bermuda, he's been a regular for the England youth teams at under 19 and under 20. Also been picked for the under 21s. Played 23 games on loan for Wimbledon in League One in 2019. Yet to make an appearance for West Ham United's first team, but looks like he's just about to come on and do that. And of course, Rio, another player who's very, very highly rated and one for the future, we think.
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot of good things about him. We've got a couple of decent young keepers. Trott seems to be the pick of them. The spell at Wimbledon last year was he started off playing regularly, but he lost his way in a little bit.
Yeah.
The reports I read was he's an excellent shot stopper, but needs to learn to command the box a bit more. So this, I know it's only 10 minutes, it gives him ample opportunity to try and get on the pitch, make a name for himself a little bit, you know?
I wonder if he's going to come on. Balbuena's struggling, so I'm wondering if they're actually going to bring him on now, because someone from the bench came down and had a quick word with him then, and I've noticed that Balbuena's actually struggling. He's got a bit of a limp on him, so I'm wondering if they're looking and watching that for the next couple of minutes, see how that pans out.
We'll have to keep an eye on that one. We are, of course, 81 minutes into the game, as we said. Balbuena going down, sort of getting in a tangle with an opponent and going down. Didn't seem to be much in it, but obviously, under a little bit of distress there. We've just seen Issa Diop make a great challenge there, Pinky, to come out from the back, almost Angelo Ogbonna-like. Very alert to avert a bit of danger there, but it's been quiet today, hasn't he? Issa Diop. He hasn't had an awful lot to do. We spoke about him earlier, but West Ham haven't been under an awful lot of pressure, but we haven't seen much of him, really.
I could be cruel and suggest he's found his level. Or maybe that's just been accurate. Look, it's no secret. He's not a player I'm a big admirer of. I think despite Jose Mourinho's attempts early doors to unsettle him with his comments about, he was a monster today, he won everything and all the rest of it. The fact of the matter is, we spoke about it the other week, centre-backs come in pairs for my money, and you've got to have two that can play together. And very often, you think back to when Pardew brought in Gabadon and Collins from, I think it was Cardiff City back in the day.
Yep.
He bought the pair of them because when you get them, you're never sure which is the good one. So you buy them both. Is the theory. And Trott is indeed coming on now, which is good to see. Which is... Forgive me, I thought it went to my head. I wonder who he's replacing.
Could be going up front, as we said earlier. But it is indeed Fabianski.
Yeah. But so Fabi goes off. And I don't know, maybe this is the manager playing, not games, but he's put a youngster on up top to show the chairman, look, there's my option. He's putting on, you know, a youngster in the goal going, there's my option. Now, I'm suspicious as to where Randy is today, you know, but, you know, is there a story there? Maybe he's picked up an injury that we're not aware of yet. And, you know, Trott's in the squad because he's the next cab off the rank. So I think Moyes is without scoring points against the chairman today, he might be making a few points.
We've thank you, Pinky. We've also seen a third substitution, and Pinky pointing out that both youngsters have been used. We've just seen the third academy player in the squad come on now for his full first team debut, I should stress, because he did play against Wickham in a pre-season friendly last summer. Jamal Baptiste, just 17 years of age, coming on for Ryan Fredericks there with 7 minutes to go. A central defender by trade. As I said, he's only 17 in November, so he's not an old 17. No, he's barely 17. A player who's been at West Ham since he was just 8 years of age, you know, a hammer for life. Broke into the under-18 squad, as I said, before the game began in 2018, 2019, while still a schoolboy. He was only 15 when he made his under-18s debut. Made his debut for the under-23s in September when he was still only 16 years of age. Played 14 games in total that season. In 2019, that was. Made his England under-17 debut in October of 2019, again at the age of 15, and trained with the first team squad last summer during the Scotland pre-season tour, and as I said, made his first team debut in a 5-1 friendly win against Wickham in last August. Also made his England under-18 debut, but this is his first game competitive match for the first team. He cites his inspiration as Declan Rice, and as I said, he said recently that West Ham is all I know and it's all I want to know. And Breeze, you can't ask for much more than that from one of your academy prospects, can you?
No, and it is, you know, it's the one thing we all look for as West Ham fans, isn't it? The players that come through the ranks and have absolute joy in actually putting the shirt on and getting on the pitch. In a day when everyone's about the transfer fees and bringing in players from abroad, and this is what you want to see, is the players coming through into the squad. And in games where they can soak it up, get used to it, enjoy the occasion, you know, we're well enough ahead that's not going to make a difference. I just think this is what we should be looking to do every season, is introduce a couple in these type of games when we're winning and just see what they do on the pitch. And even if they don't go any further, we've had a look, we've shown them about what it's about, we've shown them what's on offer to them if they step up and put the effort in. So it's great to see, and fair play to Moyes for doing it, because there are previous managers that wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, very much so. I think it's really encouraging to see. And of course, West Ham, Rio, we do love seeing our young players come on the pitch, and great to see 3 of them making their debuts today.
Yeah, absolutely. And 3 positions where we're desperate for players, aren't we? You know, we've got a young keeper. Our backups are, let's put it this way, a little bit flaky to say the least. We've got Effeland, who's come on, scored a goal, made a very intelligent run and make that in a position where lacking numbers. And also Baptiste, who, it's a mark of the player himself that he's constantly played at a higher level throughout his career so far, and he's only young. So great to see him on there. And he's also younger than my T-shirt.
Well, just while you're talking there, yeah, the young lad up top, Afolayan, again, as we were pouring forward there, he put on a little burst to actually be in exactly the spot where the ball should have been delivered to him. If I was being hypercritical, he could have stopped dead in his tracks and pulled up on the penalty spot to say, pass it here. But he's looking lively. You know, he's trying to impress somebody today, that's for sure.
Yeah, very much so. As we said, he's out of contract, signed a 3.5-year deal with West Ham. He's out of contract this summer. This is his first team appearance, and marks it with a goal within just, was it 4 or 5 minutes of coming on the pitch? But fantastic stuff anyway. We're into the last 3 or 4 minutes of normal time. Pinky, can you take a look at our WhatsApp chat, please? and West Ham are leading by 4-0. Doncaster beaten quite comfortably here this afternoon, or on the way to being beaten quite comfortably this afternoon, as the Hammers look to perhaps end the match with a flourish. Ben Rama on the left-hand side, looking to create something, but the Rovers defence holding strong there as Donny win a free kick. Last couple of minutes. I suppose it's about time we started looking at man of the match awards. Rio, who's really stood out for you for West Ham so far today?
As we said, Andrei Yarmolenko's just been given the BBC award. For me, it'd be Pablo Fornals, who's been creative, intelligent, worked as hard as he ever does, and has really shone today.
Good shout. Actually, he's been very, very busy. No goals, but done very well. Briz, what about yourself?
Yeah, Fornals for me all day long. I know it's fashionable to give the main striker the man of the match award now, but for me, he's worked at both ends of the pitch. I just think he's been brilliant today. Yeah, Fornals all day long.
Good stuff. I'm going to hand you over momentarily to for Pinky, who's going to hold the reins while I have to nip out for a minute or so. But Pinky, who would you have for man of the match?
Fornals, nailed on. Yeah, just for his energy, his work rate, the lovely touch that he did, 5 or 6 minutes ago that led to a goal. I think he's a super little player. Dare I say it, of the Pellegrini purchases, he is comfortably the cream of the crop. He's the one that you say we've got some value out of. So no doubt about it for me, Fornals. But West Ham on the attack here. Ben Rama plays the ball wide, picks it up again, has a shot. Now, come on. Oh, no. Poor first touch from the young lad there, but recovers. Ball wide. Now, Fornals on the ball on the edge of the box. I mean, we're trying to get your fifth here, Bristol, but not quite. Balcombe tidies up the shot that's come in. But in terms of the opposition here, Bristol, we touched on Balcombe earlier. Do you think he'd be worth a punt in terms of we had a few quid of the transfer fee?
No, to be honest with me, you kind of find your level. I know it's different for goalkeepers. There's been some kind of weird signings. Players almost at the end of their careers going to clubs just to make up the British quota, but we're not in that position. And again, goalkeeping is one I'm not really that fussed about now. In the summer, I think we're definitely going to have to strengthen. I think I'd like to see us go after Pope in goal. I think he's a good keeper with a good prospect. Should have done better there. Thank God he didn't. But yeah, I think for me, goalkeeper is one of those positions where you know what you want. You want a good first choice. You want one backup that you can rely on, and then you want one to throw on an emergency. And it looks like Trott's going to be the one we pick for the emergency games. I'd like to see us go for Pope in the summer. I think he'd be a good sign-in, and I think Burnley are on their way down from what I've seen them play this season, and he's one of the stars of their side, if one of the only stars of their side. I think we should be looking to pick that up. Mind you, we'd have to kind of do a car boot sell or something to afford the money to buy him, but let's see how that goes.
And therein, I fear, lies the problem. Pope for you, Rio?
And I'd love to see. I think he's by far the best English keeper there is, but I think we'll be way down the pecking order of being able to sign him in terms of status and money, but most definitely money.
Yeah, I think we'd be more likely to pick up the player that Pope replaces at one of the top 6 clubs. As our number one, if you get the drift.
Thank you, Pinky, for holding the fort there momentarily. Do let us know who you felt was man of the match as well. The team here all going for Pablo Fornals. It's unanimous as we approach the final moments of this game. 3 minutes, of course, added on. 2 of those done now. The result of formality, West Ham are going through to the 5th round of the competition to face either Manchester United or Liverpool. We'll look at some of the other teams joining us shortly. But suffice to say, it won't be Millwall because they're 3-0 down at home to Bristol City this afternoon, which is, of course, a dreadful shame. Fornals, Mark English and Hobo also going for Fornals, even though the BBC going for Yarmolenko. West Ham, one more chance perhaps before the game ends here, Briz?
Yeah, I was waiting for me 5 then, but it's not appeared, does it? It's prediction champion of last season. I thought I'm on for this here now. This is going to be a goal, and we're in for the 5. But it's been comfortable for us, and I know it's difficult to judge performances when you're up against lower league opposition, but it's been professional. One of the things we could have done today is come out here, taking it for granted, and lost this game, and we didn't. I think we showed a statement of intent from the very beginning. We looked like we wanted to come out and win the game. I think we played really, really well and really professionally. Everyone's done their job. I'd be really pleased with it today. I'd like to see us do this a bit more in league games.
Yeah, it's not something you see West Ham do, is it? We've kind of changed our style here, but again, you've only got to look at the match facts to see, how much in command the West Ham have been. 67% of possession, only 33 for Doncaster, and that is the final whistle. The game is over. West Ham are through to the 5th round of the FA Cup. The final score at the London Olympic Stadium: West Ham United 4, Doncaster Rovers 0. The opening goal coming with just 90 seconds on the clock. Pablo Fornals scoring from a Yarmolenko cross. The lead doubled by Yarmolenko himself on the 32nd minute after Ben Rama through ball. Really clever little ball, and Yarmolenko just dinking the ball over the approaching goalkeeper. It was 3-0 on 53 minutes with one of those comedy own goals, unfortunately. Poor Butler for Doncaster. Andy Butler, that is, converting a Mark Noble cross, attempting to hoik it clear and just diverting the ball into his own net. And then the final goal of the game coming shortly after he'd come onto the pitch on 76 minutes. Afolayan following up from Ryan Frederick's shot to and a save, and just tapping the ball home into an empty net to complete West Ham's afternoon with a 4th goal. Really well taken and comfortable, really, for West Ham. Immediate post-match thoughts. We'll turn first of all to the Pink Palermo for his summary. What did you make of what you saw out there today, Pinky?
Comfortable win for our lads. I mean, no doubt about it. We were right at it from minute one. A goal in 90 seconds with Fredericks turning on the afterburners to get down the right flank and put a peach of a cross in for Fornals to bury. I mean, ultimately, there was, the job was pretty much done there in terms of what really needed to happen. We set the tone for the afternoon, completely controlled the game. Yeah, the last 20 minutes we were playing well within ourselves. Comfortable, professional job. And I think part of that is the message the manager sends out with his opening selection, making sure there's a decent team out there against, a 3rd-tier side. He said, you are good enough to win this. A blend of regular first-team starters and those that are in the first-team squad. And it sends the message to the players: go and win the game. And they did just that. Good professional job by West Ham. And dare I say it, unlike West Ham. It's a strange season now, riding high in the league, trying in the cups. Who knows? We might win the Euro Millions and have some money in the bank.
Thank you, Pinky. Rio, I'll turn to you next for your post-match thoughts, immediate thoughts on what you see this afternoon. West Ham cruising through to the 5th round of the FA Cup with that comfortable 4-0 win.
Yeah, absolutely professional, as Pinky said. We've fallen and fell with lower league opposition far too many times as long as I've been on the planet. So it's just really, really refreshing to see us go out there and put in a performance which justifies our status. I think the early goal really settled us down, afforded us a little bit more ability to kind of play and take the game to them. We looked kind of relaxed. I think the bright sparks for me, I thought Fornals was excellent. But I'd like to point out the 2 youngsters who come on, not Trot, because he didn't have a lot to do at all.
Yeah.
But Afolayan took the goal well, as Pinky's pointed out. He made an excellent run for that. He made a couple of really intelligent runs in his little spell on the pitch there. Baptiste went on for very long, but he linked up really well down the right-hand side with Yarmolenko. It's like 2 little more positives. They've had a little bit more first-time experience. They've equipped themselves incredibly well. But yeah, professional performance, almost on West Ham like in its execution. So it's great to see.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you, Rio. And finally, for our immediate post-match thoughts, Bristol Hammer. backing the team today, bringing us good luck and enjoying, no doubt, a comfortable West Ham win.
Yeah, professional today, utterly and totally professional. We, I think back to the game against Man City when we dumped a load of youngsters in and got absolutely thumped. This was the right way to bring youngsters into the team. You're winning, let them enjoy the day, let them enjoy the occasion, let them understand what it's like to play for West Ham, put the shirt on and do it in a way when they're not battered afterwards for the performance. So for me, great professional. And I'd like, I know Gnome's not here, but in his honour, I'd like to pay tribute to the referee today. I thought I had an excellent game, kept the game flowing. Little faux pas from the lines person. I still don't understand how he didn't flag that guy from offside at that point. But I thought they were great today, and I thought they contributed to the game, and I thought Doncaster did too. I thought they came at us, they kept going in the game and kept trying at least. So credit to all round today, and I think thoroughly professional performance.
Yeah, I think that's the common theme, isn't it? Running amongst everyone, a thoroughly professional performance, quite un-West Ham-like in some ways, with that comfortable demolition, you could say, of League One Doncaster, who, of course, have bigger fish to fry for themselves this season in terms of trying to get into the Championship. They're currently 4th in League One, and, that will be their priority. So no worries for them, really. They're not going to be too concerned by that. Briz, if we have to lose you shortly, then thank you. I'll thank you now in advance for joining us this afternoon, just in case the internet plays up down there. Some other scores from you for you from the 4th round of the competition. Also going through to the 5th round, along with West Ham, Southampton, of course, knocked out cup holders, Arsenal earlier in the day, but winning 1-0. Barnsley beating Norwich 1-0. Brighton just clinging on to beat Blackpool there 2-1. Bit of a shock result there. It could have been. Millwall sadly beaten 3-0 at home by Bristol City earlier in the day. Sheffield United progressing to the 5th round with a 2-1 defeat of Plymouth Argyle. Swansea smashing Nottingham Forest 5-1 in the other tie. West Ham, of course, will have to wait until tomorrow afternoon to around 7:30 in the evening to find out who will be facing in at the 5th round of the competition, with Manchester United and Liverpool facing off at 5 p.m. Chelsea and Luton tomorrow, Brentford and Leicester City, Fulham versus Burnley, and Everton versus Sheffield Wednesday. Also playing in the 4th round tomorrow. Wycombe Wanderers and Bournemouth are facing Tottenham and Crawley, respectively, to see who else will be completing the 5th round lineup. Pablo Fornells was the player of choice for the team here today as man of the match. Really strong performance out there. I think I might have said a few moments ago that he didn't score today, which of course would be completely wrong because he scored the opening goal of the game after just 90 seconds. Pinky's nodding. So yeah, my apologies for getting that wrong. But yeah, let's just talk for a moment about Pablo. Pinky, we always say how enthusiastic he is as a player, and what I found really refreshing was that today, against a League One side, you'd quite often find players switch off in games like this and maybe showboat a bit, or don't perhaps put in 100%. I don't think you can say that about Fornells today. He was as enthusiastic and energetic as he probably always is, and of course capped that off with a decent goal. And good to see, really, that professionalism. I think we spoke about that. You spoke about it at the final whistle in your summary. Professional performance by West Ham. You need professional performances from the players to give you that team ethic. And I think Pablo really sort of took that by the scruff of the neck today and sort of drove the rest of the players on in a way. And yeah, really strong professional performance from him out there.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the legs to, dare I say it, lead from the front. He can walk the talk. Bags of energy, bags of application. Mm-hmm. He'll cover a lot of grass in the course of the afternoon. And as I always like to say, he plays the game with a smile on his face. He looks like he wants to play. Yeah. He looks like he's enjoying it. He looks like he's going, "Oh, thanks, Mr. Moyes, for picking me again. I'm going to try really hard for you this afternoon." He's happy to be here. And you think of, in the not too distant past, we've had one or two players that, I've got a face like a week of nights. Oh God, 60 grand a week, and now they want me to play football kind of attitude. Yeah. Whereas Fornells, you know, you very much get the impression he's one of those guys that say, do you know what, he'd be happy playing for, you know, jumpers for goalposts kind of approach. So I thought he's terrific today in everything he did, and the fact that it's from the first minute, you know, it just sets the tone. Get stuck into them straight away. Don't let them settle. Don't let them get comfortable. You know, we got the early goal. You know, how many times have we seen West Ham United go 2-0 down before we start playing? But not today. And I think that's a credit to both the manager and coaching staff, but the players on the pitch as well. I mean, players who I'm quite happy to criticise, you know, the likes of Yarmolenko, did okay today in what he had to do. You know, so he was fine. Ben Rama, again, you know, I've got real doubts about his decision making, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But he looked an attractive enough player to watch today, as he should against this level of opposition. But overall today, you've got to say 4-0 was undeniably the pick of the bunch. And dare I say it, he's playing well enough that, never mind us all being worried about Declan Rice being poached by other clubs, it's only a matter of time before someone picks up the phone and said, that young Spanish lad you've got, any chance? Because he is a very good footballer. There's something about him that I think that I like. Yeah, he's a good player. Like him.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan, big fan, and I think another big fan of his is Rio. I think we're all sort of in agreement about Pablo Fornals. Well, what do you make of that point? That's an interesting point from Pinky there, isn't it? That you know, maybe someone is watching. You know, we've heard speculation about Diop in the past, and of course Thomas Souček more recently, but going under the radar a little bit, isn't he, Pablo Fornals? And would you be surprised to see perhaps someone, you know, one of the bigger Spanish clubs perhaps come in and, you know, sort of make an inquiry in the summer?
Not at all, because as Pinky said, not only has he got ability on the ball, his teamwork, he's exemplary. He does the work of 2 or 3 people at times.
Yeah.
He's got everything you'd want. He looks like a team player, someone who'd be brilliant in the dressing room, which a lot of teams nowadays, a lot of recruitment specialists look at players, not only their ability on the ball, but how they integrate into squads. And he come into the West Ham side. He had a little bit of a rough start, but he looks like he's an absolute fulcrum. He looks like he's loving life over here, loving playing football. He plays, as Pinky said, with a massive smile on his face. He actually wants to be out there. He wants to be make an impression. Wants to be creating for not only himself but his teammates. You know, and that kind of mentality will go a long way. But he's got the ability to back it up as well. He'd be an asset to any club. He wouldn't surprise me. There's a number of our players who wouldn't surprise me to be sniffed around by a much bigger fish than us. And Pablo's one of those.
Just actually, something you said there sort of made me think. You mentioned about how he could be a big influence in the dressing room. I just wonder what sort of music he'd be into. Do you reckon he's like an EDM fan, drum and bass, likes a bit of metal, maybe a bit of, you know, traditional Spanish flamenco? What do you think he'd bring to the dressing room?
There's going to be a bit of Spanish dance music out there somewhere, isn't it? So, yeah, it's
Spanish
not my cup
maybe?
of tea. Well, I don't know. No, it's not my cup of tea, but like, you know, it's going to be a cross between a bit of Julio Iglesias and the KLF. There's going to be one of them kind of mashups out there somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah, I reckon so. If anyone knows what music
He does look like the sort of player that when Arsenal had some money, they'd have been interested in when Wenger was the manager. And you know, dare I say it, that would be, you know, the player that maybe Wenger let get away. He is a classic Arsenal type footballer. I just don't think they could afford him at the minute. And that will give you an indication of where football finances really are, and how far Arsenal Football Club's star has fallen. That we now have got 2 or 3 players that I don't think Arsenal could afford. You know, and that's what makes the current transfer window so interesting. And the summer ahead is we'll find out who really has been hammered by the COVID crisis as to who's got any money left. Because I don't see many clubs with the financial firepower that they once had. And I think 2 or 3 of clubs that would normally go into the transfer window and say, we're going to grab player A, B, or C, we'll be doing that this time around. And I think looking at one or two of them, Chelsea, we worry about Declan Rice. They've spent a huge amount of money on players, and I know they'll say, well, it was just the hazard money that we've recycled. But I do wonder if they've actually got the asking price for Declan Rice. And there's two or three of that sort of so-called top six who I don't think have got the readies. I just don't think they've got the readies to even come and raid West Ham United for our star performers. So interesting times ahead.
Yeah, very much so. Everyone, of course, struggling at the moment, and we know West Ham are in desperate financial straits, given some of the comments that we've heard and reports we've seen in recent days and weeks in the media. Coming back to today, we've seen 3 young players get their debuts, been granted their debuts. We saw, the goal scorer, Afolayan, come in, Jamal Baptiste and Nathan Trott. All 3 hadn't played for the first team before in a competitive arena anyway, and all given their chance today. They're not, of course, the first youth players to be given a chance by David Moyes. I mean, we've seen Harrison Ashby, Manny Longello come in, Elise and Jeremy Ngakia, of course, was given his debut by Moyes. Never really struck me before as the sort of manager, Rio, that would give youth a chance. But he's certainly looking at everyone we've got in the academy, isn't he, at West Ham, and giving them a chance where possible. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's forced out of necessity rather than his usual choice. Because normally you go out and buy. When he was at Everton, he used to go out and buy people, didn't he? Just like, even if you were just from not the most salubrious of clubs and most salubrious of players, but he used to buy people used to fit his system.
Yeah.
And not look at the youth too much. With us, I think it's done from necessity, really, because we're harking back to the financial status of the club, aren't we?
Yeah.
He's kind of forced to give the youngsters an opportunity. And so far, what I've seen, I mean, I've been quite impressed by quite a few of them. There's no one that's actually stood out to me as being someone that I wouldn't look again at. I mean, I said today that both Baptiste and Afolayan did really well in their very short spells. Harrison Ashby early in the season looked very accomplished when he come and played. And the others, no one stood out as being particularly poor. They're all worth another go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of our financial situation, they're going to be afforded more opportunities to prove themselves.
Yeah. Thanks, Rio. Do you go along with that, Pinky? Do you think that, we're going to see more of the youngsters come in to fill up these obvious gaps in the squad, and B, that Moyes is forced by necessity to sort of look, down the ladder, as it were?
Yeah, and necessity is the mother of invention, and I don't think Moyes is alone amongst top managers in having to do that. Arsenal's recent revival has coincided with Arteta introducing a few youth players.
Yeah.
Even Solskjaer at Man United, when he brings on Greenwood and players of that ilk. So for West Ham United to do it, no real shock. 3 on the pitch at the same time is a big moment. There's been no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of clubs out there, on the continent in particular, who with their academies will have as their set goal for the reason the academy exists is to produce 1 first team player per season. And they say that's what the academy is there for. That's why they fund an academy. That's its mission, for want of a better phrase. And I don't think we could do worse than actually have that as a thought process that says every single season we want to see 1 player come through. That should be what the academy's for. Yeah. And I get the argument that says only if they're good enough. Of course, that's a prerequisite. But sometimes if you've got a longer term position with a manager,
mm-hmm.
and the manager feels comfortable in the job he's got, and he doesn't always feel he's under enormous pressure, he might be in a position to save the chairman a few quid by saying, you know what, if that's my transfer kitty, that's fine. I'll put that towards these 3 players.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have 2 youngsters in the match day squad every week in these parts of the field. And you need to be aware of that, Mr. Chairman, because I'm going to spend my money to get the best value I can in the marketplace, and I'll plug the gaps with these 2 or 3 youngsters that could. They're worth looking at. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I may come back to you in the shorter transfer window for some top-up funds. But what's impressing me with David Moyes at the minute is he is leaving no stone unturned. Trying them all. Everyone's getting a game. Even the players you could say he's discarded, and you could say Diop's in that category. He's got a game this afternoon to show what he could do. Ryan Fredericks, likewise, today he got a game to see what he can do. And sometimes 1 or 2 of the players need to be reminded, put yourself in the shop window. If you want to play every week, if that's what you want to do as a player, when you get a chance, play to your maximum, because that's the only way you're going to go and get a game somewhere else. And for my money, fair play to David Moyes. It is a double-edged sword, because he is sending certain messages to the chairman, of that I've no doubt, but he's picking them. They've done okay. Afolayan's come on, he's got his goal, did a couple of good things. Only one dodgy bit for me. He had a first touch in the box that was a shocker. Yeah. And he'll find out that if you want to step up to the Premier League, that first touch, that's what gets you the goal. Yeah. You ain't getting a second touch in the 18-yard box. And it's whether or not the club feel he'll actually have a good enough first touch. That instant, bring the ball under control, bang, and it goes. But I wouldn't be too harsh on him. He's had, 20 minutes to show us what he can do after 3.5 years. I don't know. Maybe you give him another year. Maybe you sell him. Maybe he just gets released. But the fact of the matter is, for David Moyes today, if he hadn't gone with those 3, what were his other options? That's kind of the point. And it's threadbare. I understand the club is skint. But when haven't we been skint? And can the chairman tell us all when we won't be skint? And we will always be skint if he keeps taking speculative £30 million punts on a player the manager clearly hadn't down as a priority.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you, Pinky. I was just thinking there while you were talking about the last occasion on which 3 academy players made their debut in the same match. And I think it's got to be Forest, hasn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
I don't know.
Different circumstances.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry, Rio, you were going to interject there. You were going to.
The only other occasion I can think it might have happened is the Macclesfield Cup game at home when we beat them 8-0, because we brought on a few lads at the end. But apart from that, definitely Forest. When was it about 7 or 8 at the same time, wasn't it? Absolute
crazy,
carnage.
wasn't it? Madness. I think we started with, was it 5 or 6 debutants that day, and then of course as Rio says, brought 1 or 2 more on. But I mean, the mother of all necessity, Pinky pointing out there, I think it was, but 3 debutants in the side today. Or not Rio. Sorry, coming in there.
Definitely Macclesfield.
It was Macclesfield. Who did we have that day?
I'm just trying to look down at the team lineup, but we had, I know Joe Powell, Connor Coventry come on. Diagana, one of his first starts, it may have been.
Yep.
And Declan come on very early as well. But yeah, that wasn't his debut. But yeah, I think it was Coventry, Powell, and Diagana.
So there you go. There you have it. Not a frequent occurrence anyway, but good to see. And sort of going on from that and taking that point a little bit further, we saw a lot of players come in to the team that hadn't necessarily played a lot this season. Players like Fredericks and Diop and even Mark Noble, I suppose, to a degree. Rio, what do you think David Moyes learned about his squad today and those players? Did he learn anything, or is it just a question of you're going in to fill a hole for me today? Or do you think he's sort of been left with something to maybe think about in terms of going forward from some of the performances he saw today?
I don't think he's learned anything new, because he's seen them players play at various parts of the season anyway. What it was good though is we completely changed our entire back four, and yes, it's lower standard of opposition, but they've all equipped themselves really comfortably, really well. Balbuena and Diop had that natural partnership in the first season they were together. They look really untroubled today. It's good to see them get minutes under their belt again. You know, Ben Johnson come on. I'm still not convinced by him. He flatters to deceive. I think at times he looks really impressive, but far too often he looks a little bit apprehensive on the ball. I don't think his decision making as a defender is great. Ryan Fredericks, we all know what he's capable of. He's lightning quick. Can't defend for toffee most of the time, but he's a threat going forward. So in that respect, I don't think Moyes has learned anything really new, just that he can count on his players to step in and do a job, which, as we know, with a threadbare squad, is necessary. Sorry.
Yeah, very much so. Pinky, would you go along with that? I mean, also, talking about players like Said Benrahma. I mean, we talk about Benrahma every week, don't we? And about the need for him to impress this week or the next week. And he got the assist today. He got the assist for the second goal, playing in Yarmolenko. Tried again. There was a lot of effort. I think we said at half-time that he'd looked quite busy, but not really an awful lot of end products when you look back at it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. He's got the dancing feet. He's got the, he's a player that always looks busy. He's here, he's there. But at the end of it, you go, so what? Who did he hurt today? Yeah, and banging off a shot from 20 yards because the Bobby Moore lower will all go, ooh, yeah, isn't actually going to impress David Moyes if it's 10 yards wide. And he does an awful lot of that. He also, in my view, takes a lot of poor decisions. And that's usually about hanging on to the ball when just a quick release is the better option. He's not alone in that, I think it's fair to say. But for me, my concern with Benrahma is he's 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, or rather, he will be 26 in August, I think it is fair to say. And for £30 million, you want the finished article at that age. You don't want someone who's still learning how to play the game at this level. And again, it's a player that I'm utterly convinced has been bought by the chairman for the wrong reasons. He's been bought because an agent has said, you want a player, Mr. Sullivan, his supporters will love. Let me tell you what I've got for you. Oh, I just happen to be his agent, yeah. And just for a modest 30 million, we can secure services, but you'll only need to put down a few million now, kind of thing. And the whole thing about it, the lack of a ringing endorsement from the club's manager, who were told yesterday in an article by Jacob Steinberg in The Guardian that Moyes actually has a 12-month option, I think, on the back of his deal. So
yes, apparently so. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? Because I'm not sure that's ever been revealed before.
No, it hasn't. And I'm not sure whether it's Moyes' option or the clubs, or they both have a thing. So well, it might just be what they've agreed to tell people to take the heat out of that particular argument. So clearly that manager and chairman have some alignment there. But the concern for me is when the manager is giving interviews to the press and what have you at the minute, he's saying spent money wisely in the transfer market on Souček, Bowen, and Kufal. No mention of Benrahma.
Yes. And
do you know what? Benrahma can read the papers as well. Benrahma can see, the interviews in Sky Sports as well. And he'll be looking at that going, the guy that picks the team isn't actually on board with my presence here. Okay. And that's the real sign of, well, are the chairman and the manager really aligned? And this isn't healthy. And I know I go on about it an awful lot, but you've got to say, if you hire a football manager on a couple of £1 million a year, whatever David Moyes gets, and he's managed football teams for about 900 games, and he's worked as a professional his whole working life with professional footballers, he might know a thing or two about it, and certainly more than the guy who had a very different career for most of his life. And he just happens to have the ability to use other people's money to fund his football club. And we've got the wrong person spending the club's money on the wrong targets still. And to those that say it doesn't matter, well, it does matter because we haven't got any money left now. And we've got one striker at the club, Mikel Antonio, and 19 league games and 4 or 5 cup games left to play this season. How can it be?
Yeah.
So for me, Benrahma, no. Flatters to deceive, shouldn't have bought him, and certainly the person who appears to have bought him most definitely shouldn't have bought him. And that's my point, really.
Yes, and of course, not just that, but as you pointed out, the club's still indebted to Brentford to the tune of probably around £25 million, which is money they're going to have to come up with at some point this year before we can even, fund other players. Do you think, sort of on that, Pinky? Sorry, Rio, I'll come to you in just a second, but just continuing this theme with Pinky. Do you think the club aren't going to bring anyone in January? Do you think it's likely that that there really isn't any money there, and we just can't afford to do that?
No, I think we'll bring a player in. I've been saying Giroud all along. I think he's the player that's going to arrive because I think Chelsea will be looking to cut their payroll and cut their player roster, I think is the modern phrase. So would you say we're going to bring him in on a permanent basis or on loan? Yeah, I think so. And I think we'll end up giving him an 18-month contract. Okay. So back end of this season and all of next. And in the classic Sullivan tradition, well, it's wages only. It will be, well, we'll just give him Haller's wages. There you go. Okay. And I think that's the deal that'll come purely because we'll probably get him on a free. And there'll be some vague chat with Chelsea about if Declan Rice was ever available, we'd make sure we'd take your call, kind of thing. Yeah. As if we could stop the phone ringing. But I'd expect Giroud to arrive. And I know there's not an awful lot of paper talk about him, but I can't see us paying a fee for a striker. I don't think we've got the money. I think the bids that are being made are kind of like me going up to Miss World and saying, do you fancy a date, love? It's likely. Do you think they're being made, though? Do you think they are being made? Do you think that that's genuine, or do you think that's just, the club putting stories out there? I think they are being made in the same way. We've seen this before with, the Carvalho transfer where it's Mickey Mouse bids. It's It's a bit like me applying to West Ham for the manager's job every time we sack a manager. Yeah. We've had an application for the manager's job from the Pink Palermo. I could say I applied, but it's not really an application, is it? Okay. And I think they're the kind of bids we're making. Okay, good stuff. I mean, Rio, would you go along with what Pinky's saying there? I mean, do you see, the club being restricted to free transfers and cheapies rather than, really going out and spending that money that we thought we'd got from? And this is the ludicrous thing, isn't it? I mean, I think we forget also, here we are without a striker on the books. I mean, people will tell me that Mikel Antonio is a striker, but Pinky pointed it out earlier in the stream, way back in the first half, that here's a guy who came to the club as a right wing back and was converted to converted as a winger and now a striker. We don't have a striker on the books, a first team striker, and we're faced with this possibility of going half a season without a striker. That just seems madness, doesn't it? Absolutely. And just look at our league position. Look at where we are in the cup. The double is on, and yet we still haven't got an official striker on the books. And we're not going to get one until possibly the summer at the earliest. All this talk about we've bid X amount for this player, X amount for that player. As Pinky said, we have seen it all before. We've seen it time and time again. This time, it's backed up by the fact that we have absolutely no money whatsoever. They're all cursory bids. They're all like, oh, we're interested in. It's all fed out by the club to make it look like as if we're busy in the transfer market. The only thing we're busy is trying to pick up as cheap a player as possible. We can say we're after, the guy from Seville, apparently the asking price is £30 million. You know for a fact
David Sumner's been watching Life of Brian again during the week, learned all his haggling techniques. He's on the front room. How much do you want, mate? 30 million. We'll offer you 12. 30? Oh, wait, I'll make it 14. But he won't. We'll get to a certain point where he won't go above, and we know that.
Yeah.
A, because he doesn't want to pay it. B, because we actually haven't got it anyway. And C, because he's got no interest in augmenting the squad and bolstering it, despite the fact we clearly need the numbers. He's looking at the league table, looking at the finances and thinking, we'll make do with it. It'll come when it comes. In the summer, let's see where we are financially. But we all know damn well that it's going to be probably the same position we're on now, if not worse financially. Now, there's a lot of talk in the press. There always is when he's not in charge. There's no real substance to it.
Okay, well, worrying times if the team here are to be believed for the rest of the transfer window at least. But anyway, for now, we'll come back to that, no doubt, in future broadcasts and etc. But I want to come back to today's game for the next few minutes. And we haven't had a look at the forums after the game yet to see what was going on. Pinky has been keeping an eye on the Doncaster Rovers forum, which is entitled Viking Chat, the #1 Doncaster Rovers forum, I'll have you know. And Rio, as always, has been keeping an eye on the KUMB.com forum match thread, which is the #1 West Ham forum. We all know that without a doubt. We'll start with Pinky, who's been keeping an eye on the visitors. Not the busiest forums, Pinky, and no doubt a fair few of the contributors have slunk off elsewhere by now. But what's the view over there? Were they really demoralised, or is it just a case of it doesn't really matter? We were never going to win the cup anyway.
Well, I mean, it's kind of summed up by here's a post here. I do feel pretty insulted by them bringing on a kid goalie for 10 minutes as if it's a friendly. Okay, yeah. Can I just reassure that Doncaster Rovers fan that wasn't why we were doing it? We were bringing on Trott to see whether or not he was good enough so he could avoid buying another player. It wasn't an insult to Doncaster Rovers. I could assure them that. But no, I mean, for all the grief we give our owners and criticism we make of our setup, sometimes it's easy to forget. We get gifted 120, 140 million pounds a year from a television company to spend. And Doncaster Rovers are out shaking buckets every single week, and their supporters, I think, they're a bit down in the dumps about it. Here's another one. The keeper they brought on has been on loan at League One, so it's not a complete piss take kind of thing. All the way through, though, there you go. I'll be more peed off if they put him up front. We did suggest it, so. Fair play. Perhaps they've been watching our broadcast this afternoon, but fair play to them. Almost to a man, they're saying, we were better. And what else can they say? Because we were. It's that simple, really. And it doesn't make them a bad team. It just means they're at their level at this point in the league structure. They're playing well in the league, and I wish them well. They didn't hack any of our players down today. No dark arts. Good luck to Darren Moore and his players. I hope they go on and do well in the rest of their season.
Yeah, here, very well said, Pinky. What's the view from the other side, Rio? The West Ham fans, our fellow Hammers, no doubt going to be delighted after what they saw today, aren't they? 4 goals, a goal from an academy starlet, 3 academy players making their debuts. Perfect day, really, for West Ham.
Absolutely. And in a very rare moment of KUMB history, we have universal joy. We have universal happiness.
Hallelujah.
As you say, a potential banana skin again for West Ham, completely avoided in a professional performance. We had youngsters come off the bench and make a real impact. Everyone's happy. Davis Cross has put, well done all. Purple Thornhouse is different class. Barring the obvious players, he's the first name on my team sheet. Gaz WHU 66. Credit Moyes for getting the right mentality into the team for that game. In previous years, we would have slipped up or at best made hard work of it. Thornhouse man of the match for me. Some really clever touches going forward to release others. He's gradually changed my opinion of him. I didn't see what others were seeing at first, but he really looks the part lately. Bubbles 1966 has put an extremely professional and comfortable win. Probably ideal in terms of giving backup players a game and giving some youngsters a debut. I won't read too much into any individual performances. The level between League One and Premier League is substantial, and the absence of a crowd makes it feel less like a cup tie. Cockney by 3-1-1s, but what an enjoyable game. How many times have we not turned up for these kind of matches? Too many is the answer. Everyone's put a shift in. Love seeing the likes of Yarmo, Benny and Lanzini legging it back to put in challenges. I was desperate to see Benny stick one in. It's definitely coming. Well done, West Ham. And let's knock the Scousers or the Manx out in the next round. And Funky Chinkin has put a professional performance and a comfortable win. 4-0 even flattered Doncaster, really, as we probably should have had at least 2 more goals. The plus points are no injuries, another assist finally from Ben Rama, a goal from Yarmolenko, a makeshift striker, a deserved goal from man of match Fornells. Another good performance from Fredericks, who hasn't let us down, to be fair, when he's played this season. Another academy player getting his first ever goal this season. 3 academy players getting some decent minutes toward the end. Another clean sheet, 4 goals, and we're in the next round of the cup. The only thing I'd like to point out is everyone has been pretty much unanimously in favour of Fornells getting the man of the match on the forum. There's a couple of mentions for Ben Rama.
Yeah.
One little bit of dispense, though, comes from Vic Watson, who put, really? I thought we had another stinker. For me, he's all fur coat and no knickers, which I am struggling to understand in the slightest, to be honest.
I'm not given the source of the comment, to be honest with you, but it does seem like a little bit of a left field opinion. But yeah, anyway. Any more, Rio? What else have you got for us there?
No, it's just all universal glee. It's unnatural, you know. Mr. Subricates, but it's annoying that our 2 standout players for Doncaster, this is, sorry, are from much bigger clubs. Premier League Brighton and Premier League players breeding ground Brentford. It just goes to show the golfing level between the Premier and League One. That being said, it's a professional and encouraging performance. The only gripe for me today was the decision making again. So many times we took 1 touch too many or a shot when we should have passed. He's looking at you, Lanzini. I wonder if that's to do with these forward players all being desperate to impress and get on the score sheet. If Lanzini, Ben Ryan and Fornells all found a few more goals in each in the Premiership, I think the floodgates was open, as though if we're under less pressure to do too much, more likely to make better decisions in the attacking areas. Bonzo's beard has put, I'm absolutely made up by the chance to play Man United, Liverpool in the next round. It's like the Pie season where I actually believe we can win any away game. And SpongeBob's Pants have got really good, comfortable performance from us. Truth be told, I expected a bit more from Doncaster. Ben Rama's man of match for me. He really is always available to receive the ball and never hides. He's comfortable receiving in areas where there's tight spaces. I thought he made some really good passes today and some really good moments linking up with Manu. Yarmo was pretty good up front too. The lad who come on from Doncaster was really good, the central midfielder. Played some really nice passes. I think the commentator said he was one-on-one from Brighton. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a couple of players from Doncaster team today. Despite the fact they lost 4-0, who really impressed us. We touched on the keeper. I thought their number 5 had a decent game, really, but despite the fact that they lost 4-0. And the midfielder who come on, the Brighton lad, again, looked pretty comfortable on the ball. And I wish them well for the rest of the season. They played quite well today. When it was 3-0 down, we kind of sat back. They kind of opened up, relaxed a little bit, and they showed some really nice touches. So, yeah, I wish them all the best for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Pinky, what's your thoughts on Doncaster's performance today? Were you encouraged by what, I mean, if you're a Doncaster fan, do you think there was, some things there you'd have been pleased with? Or were you sort of a bit disappointed with the way they played? They perhaps did seem a little bit resigned to defeat, but I guess it's always difficult when you go away to a team 2 divisions above you and you find yourself behind after just 90 seconds.
I'll be honest, I thought they'd played well within themselves as well. I thought there was a lack of application from them, certainly after the second goal went in. And as much as I've praised Darren Moore earlier, I do wonder if he'd said to his players, don't get injured, don't take any chances, really, keep it respectable, but we've got more important things to focus on. Yeah. And if that is the case, what a sad day for English football. When when the one competition that all of the the clubs enter, and it starts long before we get anywhere near it, where everyone says this will be our year. And it's kind of a shame that such is the financial might of the Premier League that everyone's desperate to get in it, but actually when they're in it, they realise they can't make any money in there. And the game's kind of lost its way in terms of, surely the objective remains to win trophies, and certainly for the likes of Doncaster Rovers, that should be the objective. And so if their sole objective is to, well, let's get back up to the Championship, where there's a few more quid kicking around, the game really has lost its way. And I think at some stage, between the FA, the Premier League, the EFL, between them, they need to sort out, if we're going to continue with a 92 club system, they have to find a way to share the money more equitably. But at the same time, the chairman of the lower league clubs have got to find a way then of agreeing they're not going to keep driving those clubs into debt, and expecting others to bail them out. There's something inherently wrong where clubs that are getting gates of 7,000 or 8,000 are 30, 40, 50 million pounds in debt, to the point where their whole reason to exist is we'll keep gambling to try and get in the Premier League gravy train. And I think what we saw today was a Doncaster Rovers team that actually, I don't think Darren Moore's got a particularly big squad either. He'd probably turn up to David Moyes and say, got any players you can lend me?
Yeah.
So we think we're threadbare. They probably had their entire squad there today, Donny. And Darren Moore, I'm sure, will be saying promotion's our game this season. We're in a good spot. We're in the top 6 in our division. Playoff place as a minimum is what we should be going for. And that's his real objective. And I'm not suggesting they chucked the game today, but I didn't see much application once the second goal went in for us. And that's not a team that's fighting to get to play in the Twin Towers for the Cup. That's not what I'm looking at today.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree with you. I think once that second goal in, you could see that there was no real fight for them or willingness to come back. But I just wonder how much of that is perhaps driven by the fact that with no fans attending games, there are no finances available. There is no financial incentive for these clubs to push on in the competition. I mean, we saw Doncaster today push the scheme whereby fans could donate £10 to the club to have their name put on the side of the bus and stuff like that. But, whereas, as we said in seasons past before this season, half of the gate receipts would have been going to Doncaster today, and of course, then you've got the incentive, I guess, to push on. I just wonder if that's perhaps
it will be a factor
as well this year.
It'll be a factor. It's the reality is it's probably cost Doncaster Rovers money today to be in that game. Because the TV money's coming to us as the home side.
Yeah.
Would it be wrong of me to suggest that maybe West Ham United should have offered that TV money to Doncaster Rovers? The chairman saying, you must be joking, we're 100 million in debt ourselves, kind of thing. I expect that, our finance director is probably preparing the invoice for the electricity that the TV companies have used to run the cameras off, kind of thing. Thanks for our appearance fee, but by the way, can you pay the lecky bill? But I mean, the financial plight of the lower leagues is fairly well documented. But equally, I'd say, when we had Matt Slater on the podcast back in the summer, and who's a Southend supporter, and we started talking about the Southend finances, and it just raises the question: well, do you think it's right that a club like yours has got a wage bill of X, whatever it was at the time? And it got a little bit tense for a moment, but it's kind of like, at what point do the lower league clubs take responsibility for their own actions as well? You've got to ask, when is that moment going to occur?
Yeah, good point. Good point. I mean, Southend, of course, struggling desperately at the foot of League Two right now, and facing, losing their position in the professional leagues for the first time in, well, I don't know how long, it must be 60, 70 years. But to be fair, I think, talking about Southend, they've always been a bit of a basket case, haven't they, since Ron Martin was at the helm there anyway, and they've always had financial issues going back 30, 40 years. But anyway, we digress. Coming back to West Ham, and we're in the 5th round of the FA Cup, 7th in the Premier League, 5th round of the FA Cup, where we've got a nice easy tie against Manchester United or Liverpool. Rio, who do you fancy in the next round? Who would you rather play?
To be honest, and I don't give a toss. Both of them are there to be beaten. I'm going to say this now. I mean, I said it after the game the other night. Manchester United, when we played them at home the other week, we should have been 3 or 4-0 up easily at half time.
Yep.
It's only our wastefulness in front of goal that really cost us that game. Once they brought on Fernandes at half time, they changed their shape, changed their dynamic, and they turned out right winners. But we should have had that game done and dusted. Liverpool, when we played up at Anfield earlier in the season, I thought we was rather unlucky to come away with a defeat there. I thought we played really well. Got undone at the end. But Manchester United at home at Old Trafford, their results have been pretty poor. They're not suited to playing away from home on the counter-attack much as we do. Liverpool got their injury woes. Both might have their eyes on the Champions League rather than, sorry, not Manchester United, but Liverpool, they've got their eyes on other things. League pushes, squad depth. They're there for the taking. We've got no reason to go up there and fear anyone. And as Pinky said the other night, we need to change the mentality of the way we look at games now. We don't, and we shouldn't be playing these kind of sides and thinking, oh, it's going to be an obvious defeat. We've got no chance. What is there to fear from them? We can acquit ourselves against any side in this Premiership incredibly well. Why not these two in the Cup when they've got other things to think about?
Yeah, why not? Why not indeed? And I think, Rio, last time we played Manchester United away in the FA Cup, of course, was 2016, when we were 7 minutes away from reaching the semi-finals before that absurd decision to allow a goal that should never have stood. But I recall travelling up to the game that day, and the mood from the away fans, the travelling fans, was just one of confidence. And it's a rare thing, I think, that you travel to games like that as a West Ham supporter and you feel confident. But is it fair to say that that's how? Well, we're not going to be travelling up there, of course, because we can't. But were we able to travel away for this one? Did you think we'd be going into this game, be it Liverpool or Manchester United, with the same sort of confidence as we had that day 4 years ago? Do you think that's what David Moyes has brought to the club?
I don't think it's a different kind of confidence for me. That season on the Village, we had Payet, who you just thought could turn any single game that he appeared in. The amount of times we went 2-0 down that season, and we come back with either a draw or win, was just phenomenal. It's very un-West Ham-like.
Yeah.
You just thought, while he was on the pitch, we had a chance, no matter what time of the game had gone or what period of play it was. While he was on that pitch, we always had a chance. With Moyes' side at the moment, isn't because we've got that kind of tool at our disposal. It's because we've got a well-drilled unit of players who seem to enjoy playing for each other, will give their all, and look very secure in the way that they operate. We don't look suspect at the back. Look very well drilled. We'll fight for everything. It's not the most exciting football at times, but as a unit, we work. It just works really well. There's this mentality that we don't have that unique flair player who just make the game turn at a click. But we have got the tools at our disposal to win any single game that we come out.
Yeah, very much so. I kind of disagree with you in a sense there, because I mean, I quite enjoy watching us play as a solid unit. I like coming away. I'm looking at the match stats today, and this isn't unique. This could be applied to the last few weeks, but I'm looking at the all right. The possession is quite a unique thing. West Ham 67% to Doncaster's 33%, but shots, for example, West Ham 20 shots today, 12 on target. Doncaster 4 shots, only 2 on target, and we've seen this quite a few times. I'm without looking back, I can't remember the last time we looked at match stats after a game and saw an opponent with more than 10 shots at goal. And so I kind of quite like that from West Ham. I like it might not be, and it certainly isn't. It's not, it's not the beautiful game as Pele once called it. What we're seeing, but it's perfunctory and it gets results. And I like that. I like watching West Ham play as a team and be solid and it is so very un-West Ham like, isn't it, to see this?
It's like we're playing on the back foot rather than the front foot under that Paye season. That was a one-off season. We just threw everything at every single game.
Yeah.
Which is why we ended up quite a few times 2-0 down. We come back to win. Yeah. But we just had that magician who could turn a game in an instant. Yeah. This group of players at the moment just seem to gel as a squad, and they work their nuts off for each other. We've got likes of Fornals, who's got all the ability under the world, but does the running of 2 or 3 players. We've got Thomas Souček, who isn't the most elegant midfielder, but he defends well. He's always seems to be in the right position when it comes to set pieces, and we capitalise on them quite a lot now. We never used to do that. No, it's the same. It's optimism, but in a different kind of aspect of it. It's completely. It's like 360-degree turn.
Yeah, I get that.
Of the way. I mean, I'm optimistic, but not for the same reason I was then.
Okay.
It's the goal difference that tells the story. If you've got a positive goal difference, it doesn't mean that you've played well particularly, but it does mean that actually people aren't tanking you every week. If you've got a significant negative goal difference, you're never ever going to convince me we're playing football that's worth watching.
Yeah.
Because I've yet to meet a West Ham United supporter who goes, great, another 3-0 defeat, and I enjoyed that. And then the following says 3-0 defeat, and I enjoyed that. And the following says 3-0 defeat, and I enjoyed that. Once you start racking up spirit-sapping defeats week after week, and the goal difference just keeps mounting against you, no one's enjoying it. And I don't care if you've got Pele, David Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne in your starting lineup. Once you start getting 14, 15, 16 goals negative in your goal difference, it's not good to watch. And therefore, the argument of style and substance disappears quite rapidly.
Yeah.
At the minute, I think we're okay to watch. I think at times we are very good to watch. Other times, a little bit ordinary. But we're 7th, and we're not parking the bus. I'm not having the fact we're parking the bus. Having 2 players like Rice and Souček shielding your defence is good football. If you've got them, you play them. Why would you not pick the pair of them? Mm-hmm. So the only debate is you say, would you play them as 2 in front of the back 4, or do you say you have a 4-1-4-1 or whatever it may be? But actually, Souček, he'll chip in this season probably with 6 or 7 goals. Yeah. Which is more than Rice is going to do. I think we're looking reasonably attractive, save for the fact we are thin on the ground up top.
Yeah.
Simple as. And I think if we got another forward in, so we could say that, Mikhail, give us 70 minutes every week, and that's all we're going to need from you, but give us your absolute gun, son, for 70 minutes. He will scare the living bejesus out of most Premier League backlines. And if then you've got a decent player to come on for the last 20, then you've got even more chance of picking up some wins. I think we're okay to watch. I can't see the negativity that people have against the manager at this point in time, because I just don't see this David Moyes team in the same category as some of the teams we've had in recent seasons with another manager who I won't name. Yeah, we all know who I'm on about. And I don't see that in this. And I called out Allardyce early doors. I will name him now. I called him out early doors in his tenure. We'd won 4-0 away at Watford. And I started a thread on the forum saying...
Yes, I remember it well.
Yeah. who, sure we're winning, but who's enjoying what we're watching.
Yep.
Got to go a second. Hang on.
No problem. No problem. So Rio, we know you're not particularly bothered by who we get in the next round, but I'm guessing now we're playing against the big boys, Manchester United or Liverpool. We're going to see a full strength team out, aren't we, for that one? Surely there's going to be no youngsters out that day.
Oh, definitely. If we don't put a full strength team out, I'll be pretty damn annoyed. But a team like we put out today, I'd be happy with. Now, we rested our back four, but the players who come in did a more than adequate job. They look comfortable.
Yeah.
They played a lot of first team football between them. So it's rotation, isn't it? Who would have thought Craig Dawson would be our first choice defender a month ago? He's come in, proved himself, and he's kept his place, rightly so. The players today, Balbuena's come in, again, I thought was solid. I know it's a different level of opposition to what Premier League are, but he's come in, done a job again, as he did earlier in the season when he come in the Premier League. He come in, I think he was unjustly dropped myself. So he's put a little question mark in, the manager said. Diop did well today. I mean, his performances all season haven't been up to scratch, but he's done all right today. He's given Moyes and his coaching staff something to think about. I won't be disappointed if any of the players that played today played against either Man United or Liverpool. I'll be more worried about who's going to play in the quarter-final when we get through.
Of those, that's one of the questions I was going to ask, actually. Is there anyone that came into the side today that sort of really troubled? You might have given Moyes a question mark about his Palace, isn't it? Of course, our next outing on Tuesday. As you say, I suppose it's difficult to judge, Rio, isn't it? We're playing League One opposition. They weren't really giving 100% out there, where they weren't. It wasn't, they weren't really playing to their best of abilities. You sort of got the feeling that they've got other, bigger fish to fry, as I said earlier. But there was, no one really put a foot wrong, did they? I guess it's fair to say.
No, we took the wind out of the Doncaster sails in very, very early on.
Yeah.
Which, without any fans in the stadium to try and affect the mood of the players and their kind of mentality, it makes a massive difference. They've got no one to cheer them on, spur them on. I mean, if we'd have been 2-0 down away from home in the cup, at a ground, say at Manchester, Old Trafford or Liverpool, and we've been in the ground ourselves, 5 or 6 West Ham fans and West Ham fans up there, we would have roared that team on and spurred them on. And Doncaster's fans would have done the same today, trying to get them back into the game. Unfortunately, we can't do that, and that makes a huge difference. But in terms of question marks for Tuesday night, no, the players that have acquitted themselves well in the Premier League have been given a well-deserved rest. Ogbon has been outstanding all season.
Yeah,
he's had 90 minutes break today, but he should walk back in that side just for his efforts previously. Antonio, we've got to nurse him because he's the only available forward we have. So we've got to nurse him through games. A much needed rest of the day. I dare say if the score had gone against us earlier in the game, he would have been brought on to try and win us the match. Thankfully, we didn't need that. So it was more for me about the players who've earned a well-earned break, weren't called upon because the rest of the team who did step in did so well, and performed so professionally. The only person I would change, and Lanzini started on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I don't see he can drop 4 hours. Declan Rice comes in because he's by far and away our best player. 4 hours must start again because we saw the impact he had today. And like I said, his work rate, his ability, for me, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. So I'd bring him in for Manu, who did okay today, but didn't impress overly. Didn't think he had a particularly good game on Tuesday. So that'd be only changes to make.
So for you, is it more a case of rather than players playing themselves into a place, it's more like, one or two might play themselves out of a place, perhaps? Yeah.
The natural names who are first choice in the team sheet, Ogbonna, Rice, they walk back into the side.
Yeah.
Manu has had 2 opportunities. And like I said, he's done okay, but he hasn't he hasn't performed to what we knew he was previously capable of, and he hasn't looked like doing that for quite a long while now.
Yeah.
So for me, Fornals, who's come in, he's the one who's put the question mark in Moyes' mind for me.
Okay.
But he's been a regular most of the season.
Mm.
Had a well-earned break on Tuesday night. He deserves it. He deserves the place to come in against Palace.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Rio. It is, of course, as you've probably worked out by now, Palace away on Tuesday night. West Ham, 5 consecutive wins going into that game with a chance of making it 6. 7 games unbeaten now prior to that 5-game winning run. We drew, of course, with Brighton and Southampton. Everton, Stockport, Burnley, West Brom, Doncaster, all put to the sword in 2021. Pinky, can we make it 6 at Selhurst Park on Tuesday night?
I think we can, but I think it'll be hard work. Roy Hodgson, he's about 100 years old. He knows the game, and he knows how to stop teams playing. He knows the limitations of his own team, and first and foremost, he will say, "Do you know what? We start with a point. Let's make sure we hang on to that." So he is a manager I would most definitely put in the Allardyce bracket in terms of thought process, which is.
Yep.
First job, make yourself hard to beat. So that's where Roy Hodgson's going to be coming from. Okay. And I think, again, it will be a fairly physical battle. So I'd probably look for an alternative to Ben Rama, if I'm being honest. I'm not sure it's a game for him. The question of, do we have an alternative to him at this point in time? Can we get 11 players that can take a more robust English kind of game that I think we'll see on Tuesday. I certainly see the likes of Rice returning. Ogbonna's going to return. Cresswell will start. Kufal will start. Fabianski picks himself in goal. Antonio picks himself up top. So really, the options boiled down. Bowen will play. It really is a case of, does Lanzini get a game rather than Ben Rama? And I think maybe Lanzini will stay at the expense of Ben Rama. But I certainly see Fornals playing. So ultimately, we were very, very close to the point where 9 of the 11 picked themselves, certainly.
And that's a good thing, isn't it, Pinky? Because, obviously it shows that you've got a settled team and they're all playing well.
It's a good thing in the fact that the 9 that are picking themselves are all decent players. It's a bad thing if the 9 that are picking themselves, the 3 of them are crap. That's where it hurts, yeah. But the 9 regular first team starters, you could say they're the players the manager trusts. They're the ones that, in the main, I would trust to say they're not going to let us down. In terms of either application or decision making. Ben Rama is the one that I've got doubts over in decision making. So he would be the one I would leave out on Tuesday. So probably a post on KUMB saying I'm a know-nothing idiot. But I just think against the likes of Palace, who we know what Wilfred Zaha is going to do. We know what his game's going to be. And ultimately, we'll know what Palace's will be. Do you know what? Unleash Zaha, playing and around the edge of our box, just going at a yard, fall over, get a penalty kind of thing. And we need to be mindful of that. And I don't see them as a goal machine as a team. So, can we win? Can we make it another win? Absolutely. And I think we need to. I mean, let's not let this season drift into mid-table. It's okay. Are we 7th now? I think we are.
7th, yep.
Yeah. Well, let's as a minimum say we're 7th at the halfway stage. Let's try and push on. And to do that, you've absolutely got to beat Palace at Selhurst Park.
I think also, Pink, if you look at the forthcoming fixtures, without going too far ahead, after Palace, we face Liverpool, which is going to be a tough one, and then we travel to Villa, which they're playing some good football this season. You have a couple of games that you would hope to win, you know, in Fulham and Sheffield United, and then we're back to pretty much where we started the season. Tottenham, Manchester City, then there's Leeds, Manchester United, Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester. You know, it's like you know, a horrendous run part 2, isn't it? It's almost like a rerun at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and you know, we've done very well against those sides, you know, first time around, but you have to say, I don't like using the word should, and we should beat this team and we should finish above them, because you've got to earn the right to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But Crystal Palace are not in the same category of football club as West Ham United. Let's not muck around here. Whoa, 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 you know, and all their nonsense ultras and all the rest of it. They're a bit of a silly football club, and they're punching above their weight just to be in the Premier League. Yeah. You know, for them to beat us is a great result. For us to lose to them is a bad result. That's the difference.
Yeah. I just like the description of Palace as a silly football club. That's...
I will be having a beard and a wig next time I'm appearing at Selhurst Park. Yeah.
Best comment of the day. I think that one saved it right to the end. Thanks, Pinky. Rio, final word from you, if you will. Do you think we're going to make it 6 wins in a row this Tuesday?
I think it's been an incredibly tough game, as Pinky rightly said. Hodgson sets his team up to contain and frustrate, and there's not a lot of quality there in terms of footballing ability, but he's got a well-disciplined squad in terms of disrupting play and making things difficult for clubs. And
yeah,
it's very much the likes of like we've proved against Burnley. We've traditionally made heavy weather of it the last few years. We broke the hoodoo this year, though, didn't we? So hopefully we can come away with a much-deserved win. In terms of ability, we're by far the better side. I know Pinky described them as a silly football club, and I've got far more offensive words to describe them. I just absolutely detest that place, the club, and everything about them. And for a non-orthopic as well, to go there on a regular basis to away games and see a massive bloody eagle flying from one end of the ground to the other is stuff that fills me with terror. So I know it sounds really harsh, but I heard that the eagle passed away recently. I punched the air in delight, and I thought, please don't let them find a replacement, you know, because it terrifies me.
You terrible, terrible man, you.
Well, just in terms of Palace, I mean, you know, I'm a regular critic, and we'll tweet Steve Parish regularly on the topic. On a serious note, I'm glad we don't have to go and stand in the Arthur Waite stand on Tuesday. It is, in my opinion, the least safe stand remaining in the Football League, and quite how Crystal Palace get away with it in terms of safety management is a mystery to me. And I think, you know, it's the one game I don't enjoy purely because of that stand. And I was relating this tale, should I say, to my good mate Danny Gray, if you're watching this at all, mate, hello, who has barely missed a game since the late 60s. I think he's missed us 3 times home and away since 68, something of that ilk. And I'm there giving the Arthur Waite stand an absolute pasting one day, and he just turned to me and said, I remember when they built this stand.
So there it is, ladies.
Kind of put me in my place a touch. So if you're watching, Danny, I hope you're well, mate.
Yeah, echoed from all of us. West Ham versus Crystal Palace this Tuesday night. That's going to be the next time you see us for our next stream. Eyes Up Mother Brown coming back. That will be stream number 34. In fact, since we returned last June, it's all seems to be a bit of a blur. We've done and we do about 3 hours a night, so that's over 100 hours of content we've provided for your enjoyment, if that's the right word, since last June. But anyway, that is just about it from us here today. My thanks to the team, to the Pink Palermo, to Rio, and also to Bristol Hammer, who had to shoot off a little bit earlier. Thank you for joining me. My thanks also to everybody who's joined us on the live stream on YouTube. Thank you, as always, for your comments and contributions throughout the afternoon. It's been another great day for West Ham United. 4 goals for, none against. Another clean sheet, a 5th clean sheet in 6 games. Actually, 5.5 in 6, really, if if you're looking at it that way. West Ham through to the 5th round of the FA Cup, where we will face either Manchester United or Liverpool. Players rested, players like Michail Antonio, Angelo Ogbonna, Jared Bowen, Declan Rice, all given the day off, and it didn't matter at the end of the day. And we've seen 3 debutants make their first appearance in a West Ham shirt. 3 youngsters from the academy. It's in some ways, it's been pretty much the perfect afternoon if you're a West Ham United supporter. And of course, Millwall got stuffed 3-0 as well. So fantastic, happy days. Arsenal out of the cup. I could go on. It's been a great day for West Ham and our supporters. That's, as I say, that's just about it from us. If you haven't subscribed to the show already, somewhere down there in the corner, there's a little subscribe button. If you click on that, you'll be notified whenever we go live in future. So that's quite handy rather than have to wait for the link to be posted on social media or any one of our channels. But as I say, it's been a great day for West Ham. It's finished 4-0. Thank you to everyone for joining us. We shall see you all very soon on Tuesday night. Until then, come on, you
Irons.